Okay, guys, I promised you a secondary stream tonight, so we are going to be going over this whole stupid drama between Ethan Klein and Noah Samsen, which has boiled over into being Ethan Klein versus the entirety of the internet. So let's get into this. I mean, I say the entirety of the internet, that's a bit hyperbolic. But I was seeing something. What was I seeing? Hey, what's up, Eliza? What did I see? Is like new update, something that Ethan was suing. I thought I saw like a list of all of the people. Oh yeah, I mean this dude, their community is so toxic. The streamers that profited off of a genocide. It's like if you talk about a genocide that's happening, then you are profiting off of it, I guess, and that's a bad thing. I mean, once again, this is an argument that can be made for any kind of journalist. Oh, you covered a genocide. You're profiting off of a genocide. Okay, that's my job to talk about it. Ethan's lost it this time. Is it actually that bad? Okay, Georgie is panicking. So apparently they doxed Bad Empanada, which is insane. I just wanted to find this one thing where it was like the list of all of the lawsuits that Ethan was doing. Where is it? It's not this. I thought I saw it somewhere. Ethan's neighbor's dog looked at him funny, and now I heard he's trying to sue them for anti-Semitism. I mean, maybe he's gonna sue his neighbor for getting a purebred dog when they said they got it off of Craigslist, and so that's misrepresenting their position on how they got the dog. All right, where are all of the lawsuits? Was it in this subreddit? I gotta like talk with Anthony Sargon because him and I have been like talking about doing something together for a while now. And I have a lot of like things to say to him or like questions to ask him. Anyway, so he's suing Bad Empanada. Is it? It's not this. I just saw this, I swear. Anyway, this is hilarious too. Ethan and some ordinary gamers working together, nightmare blunt rotation. So did he actually, I haven't seen the latest episode. Did he actually like call Mutahar? So okay, I have no idea who this guy is. Is Mutahar working for the YouTube channel Some Ordinary Gamers? And then it's like Mutahar and some other people, and then Mutahar just like has his own channel where his like, oh, Hassan's so racist and he's like a terrorist and he's anti-Semitic. Is it stuff like that? Is that what's happening? He's suing Noah Samsen now. Like, but I don't even think he is suing Noah Samsen. Just judging off of the thumbnail, I mean, the latest thumbnail is retract or lawyer up. So that doesn't seem like he's suing him yet. He's like, oh, I'll give you one more chance, otherwise I'm going to sue you. He did call him. I don't care who he is. Yeah, like Mutahar just seems utterly unimportant to me. Okay, well, let me just see this. I swear I just saw like a post where it was listing the people that Ethan Klein was suing. Did I miss it? I lost it somewhere. I thought he's sending him a strongly worded cease and desist. Yeah, exactly. It's like that. It's really like kind of a nothing burger. And like I don't even know how you send a cease and desist about a video. Like the video was made, doesn't that mean that it's out there into the ether? Anthony Sargon. I should probably follow this guy on Twitter. Do I not follow him? Oh no. Okay, I did just follow him. Okay, so he didn't post it. FL in the chat. Hey, FL. He said he's coming for Bad Empanada next, but there's obvious complications because he's in Argentina. I mean, there's nothing he can do. He can try to like submit requests on YouTube to get his videos taken down, but he already requested YouTube to take down his videos, and it didn't work because he only got one of the videos taken down. So like literally he's already tried that and it hasn't worked. What is Bad Empanada saying? YouTuber who got famous in 2014. Okay, whatever. I'm not even gonna read that. Added some context. So apparently they doxed Bad Empanada. H3 snark a lawyer. All right. Well, anyway, let's just get into this. So first, I mean, it's so funny. Ethan is sending I don't even know what it is, cease and desist because of defamation. I guess we should watch the video. But he's accusing Noah Samsen of defamation when he has said he has said verbatim, Noah Samsen is calling for death threats for me. It's like, he literally never said that. So now you are ascribing a position to Noah that could be considered defamation. Like you are literally saying that he's calling for violence against people. In the exact same video where Ethan's saying that Noah's defaming me. And then also in the same video where Noah's in the video where Ethan's complaining that Noah's defaming him, he does justify the genocide that Israel's doing. He definitely tried to make it look like it was a serious letter, like he was suing him, just intimidation. That hair dye is not working. Bad Empanada posted on his community page how Ethan is going after Noah for false claims that Empanada has already noted his sources for. Oh, the community's messed up, man. Like, what is this? Can you help with my legal fees? What? Ethan's visual metaphor. Okay, we just have to get into this. But the other thing that's crazy is this. Like, I just
information to tell you.
I just did a search for this in the transcript of a podcast from the week ago, where they do imply that Noah Samsen is a rapist. So let's just listen to this really quick.
But after the show.
It's been reported by dozens of fucking people on separate different occasions, man.
All right.
Hostages, people, casualties from October 7th, people that saw it. Like, it says its number of...
Also, if I was Noah, I wouldn't get into the whole rape denial lane.
Oh, he straight up is all in it.
Interesting.
History.
Some information to tell you, but after the show.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
About him?
Yep.
Oh, about the Cody Coates?
No, it's nothing. It's nothing that you know about yet. It's interesting how many people come out of the woodwork, Noah.
We'll get to that.
Exes,
Oof. Okay, so Dan says, if I was Noah Samsen, I wouldn't be coming out and going into the rape denial language, because it's interesting to see how many people come out of the woodwork. Exes, Noah. That's an obvious implication that an ex reached out to Dan is like Noah raped me. And then the following Friday, or not the following Friday, but that Friday, someone comes on and she's like, I dated Noah for a while and he had sex with women and didn't tell me. So it's basically cheating. And it's like, yeah, that's a shitty thing for Noah to do. But implying that Noah was a rapist is also a defamatory thing. So it's just every accusation is a confession for these people. It's all projection for them. It really is. Gross, how the crew is part of this now. Wow, that's so nasty. Ethan is pulling Dan into the abyss with him. I don't know, guys. Sure, Dan is a socialist, and I think it's fair to say that Republicans are kind of evil people, but just because you're a socialist and you're capital is bad, that doesn't necessarily make you a good person. And so I don't know. I don't know this guy Dan, but I'm not surprised that he's engaging in this petty drama shit since he's been with Ethan for years. And just because now they're going after leftist people doing the same things that they were doing to conservative people and Republicans on YouTube and shit like that. I mean, they're doing the same kind of petty, you look ugly or your mustache is ugly. Okay, so there was that. We actually didn't finish this. Should we finish this? Chat, what do you think? Should we watch the end of this to kind of set up for tonight's episode, or should we just go into tonight's episode? What do you guys think? There was just a sound clip. While you guys are typing, there was a sound clip from the last episode that he did to Noah Samson, which I thought was so funny. And I need to find it in the transcript. Holy shit, that was a jump scare. I just learned about Dan's relatives who are settlers in Israel. He talked about visiting them before. Yeah, someone sent me that clip. Once again, like, that could be a reason why he's so unwilling to criticize the actions of Israel and what Ethan Klein's been doing. Where they think it's like, oh, well, like, even though we blame Hamas for this, it's enough that every now and then we say Palestinians are undergoing a genocide, right? Sure, even though I can't stand listening to it. Yeah, I'll have to do it on 1.5 speed or something. Oh yeah, this one. This is so funny. This part was so funny. Like, I need to make a compilation of Ethan lusting after hunky men online because it never gets old.
You, it sounds like.
I mean, yeah, there might be others. I don't know.
Did he use the word roster, or was that something I imagined?
This was a while.
So he's like, so once again, just to summarize this drama, which is nothing. It's like, the girl's like, I hooked up with Noah Samson a few times, and we were having unprotected sex, and I said, tell me if you're having sex with other people. And he basically didn't tell her that he was having sex with other people. So when it comes down to it, it's like he cheated on her, essentially. He was having sex with other people, and he never told her. And obviously, like, that comes with a whole host of issues. I mean, there's the trust issue and communication and being honest. And then there's also health issues where you could be having you could get an STD with someone and then pass it on to your partner. So, like, yeah, cheating on people is extremely bad. But once again, what they did 2 days prior was imply that Noah Samson was a rapist. That's the implication. And so now they're talking with this person, and Ethan's like trying to say that Noah Samson is like a scum of the earth. But it's so funny, like I literally just said 2 minutes ago, I don't think Dan's a good person just because he's a socialist and advocates like against capitalism and maybe even advocates for like social issues. Just because you have good politics, that could be an indicator, but it's not like a fail-safe. It's not foolproof where if you're a socialist, if you're a leftist, if you have good politics, you're automatically a good person. It's not true at all. I think there might be a correlation there, but it's not 100%. But it's so funny that Ethan's like, Noah Samson advocates for feminism, but he cheated on a woman once. So he's actually like a piece of shit. So he's just like trying to discredit all leftist content creators at that point. He's like, Noah Samson's the type of guy to read a book that's about feminism and say that makes him more in tune with women. What a loser. Like, it's just stupid shit like that. But okay, I promised you guys Ethan lusting after Noah Samson, so let's play this.
While back, I can't remember exactly what words to use, but I don't think
that was internal verbiage. Okay.
So once again, Ethan makes up the idea that Noah Samson used the word roster to refer to the women that he was sleeping with. He just completely conjures it up out of whole cloth from his head.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah. And he didn't just do it to you, it sounds like.
I mean, yeah.
Goddamn, GJ, you're like, yeah, look at Vosh. Holy shit, bro.
There might be others. I don't know.
Did he use the word roster, or was that something I imagined?
This was a while back. I can't remember exactly what words to use, but I don't think.
Like, why would he even ask that? It's like, did she mention that? Like, if she mentioned that Noah used the word roster, why would he ask, did he use the word roster? Because if she mentioned it, she already told you. You wouldn't need to ask it. And then he's just like, did he use the word roster or did I just make that up? It's like he's literally just trying to make Noah look as much of a creep as possible. And he's doing it on purpose. He knows. Then this girl never said Noah used the word roster. I mean, bro, it's just so fucking funny.
That was internal verbiage. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, the idea of a roster of this, like,
dude, this is insane. Ethan comes up with an idea on his own. The girl's like, yeah, I don't remember him ever using that. And Ethan's like, yeah, okay, well, I guess I just made that up. But man, the idea that he would refer to women as a roster is so disgusting. It's so disgusting. Like, he's like, this position that I completely made up about Noah Samson is disgusting. I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes talking about it.
this dude, like, he's like, oh yeah, I got my own harem of just like, I can get hooked up with anyone, anytime. I'm just a cool, soft-spoken beefcake with a mustache.
Bro, it's like, it's so fucking obvious that Ethan's like, I desperately want to be Noah Samson. I desperately want to be this guy where I'm a beefcake with a mustache that could have sex with anyone at any time. It's so fucking funny, man. Ethan's like, gets into this headspace and he's like, I can't stop myself. Does he use the word roster? Because, man, like, if he used the word roster and he's like, oh, I can have sex with anyone I want. I have a harem and I'm just a beef. It's so fucking funny. Anyway, that was like the most content that came out of this. So this episode was extremely, it was just dark, man. So this is the episode where they were talking about the protests against Hamas, quote unquote, against Hamas. So guys, I just want to say one thing right now. These protests were against Hamas. In part, they were against Hamas. And I mean, this is an interesting article to read right here. So he says, Saeed Abu Alayesh, a medic from Jabalia, one of the most heavily damaged areas in Gaza, lost his wife, their 2 daughters, and several relatives in an Israeli airstrike. So this is a Palestinian medic who's lost his entire family. Like, he might have some distant relatives, but his entire immediate family. He said he's sick of hearing Hamas leaders call for more sacrifice. Stop this war, stop these massacres, he said. But he was also angry at Israel's expression of support for the protests, accusing Israel of exploiting them. It's mainly against Israel before it's against Hamas, he said. So this is something that people in the West that are using these protests to say, this war is entirely Hamas's fault. This is something they need to remember, that once again, if there was no Hamas in Gaza, Israel would be doing the exact same thing. They are ethnically cleansing the West Bank as we speak. They've arrested about 70,000 Palestinians. Wait, no, not 70,000. I think it was like they've arrested like 300 Palestinians, but they've completely evicted a town of Palestinians out of the West Bank. They are occupying the West Bank to prevent the Palestinians from moving back into the town, so they're using the military there. Israel is an expansionist power, and they are expanding their borders. They're annexing Gaza, and they're annexing the West Bank. This is just a fact of what's happening. And Palestinians are resisting against this expansion. And sure, when people are out of options, they're going to protest they're going to protest their leaders, because really it's like, what else can we do? Israel's killing us either way. Maybe there's some hope where if we get Hamas to give up the hostages, then Israel's going to stop. And we know this is not true. One thing that I think is interesting, the AP contacted dozens of Palestinians about Hamas in recent months. The vast majority declined to be interviewed or requested anonymity, fearing retribution from Hamas or from Israel if they voiced support for the group. Many said they were struggling to just stay alive. I saw something. The protest is not about politics. It was about people's lives. We can't stop Israel from killing us, but we can press Hamas to give concessions. So this is kind of the thing. It's like, yeah, we're protesting against Israel, but also we want Hamas to like give concessions so that Israel will stop. But at the end of the day, it is a protest against Israel, and discontent is being expressed about Hamas. The other thing that we need to look about, or that we need to look at before we really get into this, is this thing. So Hamas does have a history of violently suppressing dissent, detaining and torturing critics. In the past, Hamas has killed people it accused of being collaborators with Israel, as well as some who've challenged its rule. There are no confirmed reports of anyone being killed for taking part in the latest protests. So, like, we know that this is a protest against Israel. First and foremost, it is also a protest expressing discontent against Hamas, because obviously Hamas is the leaders during a ongoing genocide. Like, why would there not be discontent against them? And like for any leader in a place where things aren't going well, people are going to want change. This is interesting. Tahini Mustafa, a senior analyst at the International Crisis Group, said it's difficult to gauge Hamas's support. I wouldn't say it's either popular or unpopular at this point in time. So just once again, like, Hamas is just the people that are resisting Israel. Even if Hamas makes concessions, there's still going to be support for resistance against Israel. I thought this was BS when I saw it, and the Palestinians I follow had the same conclusion. Mutahar called into the podcast today to talk about the lawsuit against Noah, but they ended up talking about Hassan. Oh my god. Surprised they didn't pull up like a naked picture of Hassan and both like jerk off to it. Yeah, so this is the thing. Like, people are saying, so like, look, I was reading this, and honestly, guys, like, if I read any article and they talk about how these protests are wanting an end to the war, I am immediately like extremely skeptical of the article, because this isn't a war. So this article by the Times says demonstrations against Hamas erupted on March 25th in the northern Gaza Strip and spread since then to other parts of the territory. Already, this is not true. It's not a demonstration against Hamas. The first and foremost, the demonstration is against Israel. Sure, there are anti-Hamas chants, there are anti-Hamas posters, and there are like smaller groups within these protests that are protesting Hamas. But first and foremost, these protests are against Israel. So right off the bat, this is not true. 3 common themes can be easily detected in the demands of the demonstrators. A cry for help. Oh, that's interesting. Why would a cry for help be for Hamas? Are you really crying for help from the government that you're supposedly protesting? A demand to let Gazans live and have access to food. How is Hamas preventing Gazans from living and having access to food, and an end to the war and the death, displacement, and threats of expulsion it creates? So, just first off, right off the bat, an end to the war? Insane framing. This is not a war, this is genocide. The death, displacement, and the threats of expulsion it creates. What war creates threats of expulsion? Like, this is a war right on the doorstep of Gaza. There's nowhere for these people to go, and it's not like they can get out of a war zone and just return to their homes. This is an ethnic cleansing. And most notably, a demand for Hamas to step down and leave governance to others. Yeah, this is most notably. So, most notably, they're going to try to get Hamas to step down. This is more notable than a cry to let Gazans live. Like, it's fucking insane. Like, these people that write articles about it are so fucking bricked up and like turned on at the idea that now Palestinians like protested against Hamas in part. Like, there's some public outcry against Hamas in Palestine, in Gaza. And this is just, it's like a succulent treat for Israeli propagandists. But anyway, I just think like this article is crazy. And there's like this huge conflation between oh, Hamas is to blame for the war. And this is exactly the same type of rhetoric that Ethan Klein does on his show, where he says Hamas is to blame for the war that's happening. Yeah. So yeah, the resumption of the war, accompanied this time by the threat of expulsion, shifted Gazan sentiments towards Hamas. No, like they're still protesting Israel. And also the fact that you're just like, oh, it's just a war that's happening. The war just resumed somehow. It's like, yes, Israel broke the ceasefire. Israel attacked Gaza. Israel is like, no, we're going to ethnically cleanse all of Gaza. And accompanied this time by the threat of expulsion. Yeah, who's doing the threat of the expelling? So anyway, like just all victim blaming here. Like this guy would blame the Jews for getting genocide in World War II. What is this? Oh yeah, this is the actual author of the article. I don't know. He has a PhD, but just because you have a PhD doesn't mean you're smart. Okay, let's get in. So, holy shit, that was a sidetrack. So that was just a bit of background about these protests. And if you read any article about these protests, they're going to be like, cousins are crying to get food and to live and saying that we are still here and we're not going anywhere. It's like all of those things are aimed at Israel and the countries that back Israel. They're not aimed at Hamas. Like, Hamas is like the fifth order or like the 10th order of things on the list of importance for Palestinians right now. Because these people aren't stupid. They're not stupid. They know that if Hamas gave up the hostages and was like, okay, well, we're just gonna like surrender ourselves, they know that's not gonna stop Israel's genocide. I mean, Israel's killed a lot of Hamas soldiers, and Hamas has recruited more people than they've lost. This is a Palestinian resistance against Israel. It is just the spirit of resistance that Israel's trying to kill, not a specific group or like a list of guys. Okay. So anyway, Ethan goes full genocidal on this. I'm not really interested in rehashing that. I might make it like an edited video on it. So let's just watch. Oh yeah, I was gonna cover Ethan talking about Hassan. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish this podcast and then I'm going to play the next podcast or the podcast that happened tonight. And then we're going to like cover the Noah Samson lawsuit.
Why I quit Twitter. He's had tons of families die in the war and this horrible human tragedy. And he is a pro-peace activist. This guy is incredibly brave and incredibly smart, and I encourage everybody to check him out. He's the real deal. I haven't seen a single Western, quote, pro-Palestinian protester show the slightest interest, empathy, compassion, or support for the tens of thousands of Gazans protesting for peace, dignity, the end of the war, and against Hamas. Maybe they don't want their beloved, quote, resistance groups to fall. This guy is so legit, bro. He has legit credentials as he can. He escaped Gaza during one of the wars. He got out somehow. I think he was injured. I don't remember the story, but yeah, he's had family die. He's had like dozens of family members die in the current conflict, and he's against Hamas. He's pro peace. He wants peace, and he really sees it for what it is.
Okay, I just looked up this guy that Ethan's talking about, and 6 hours ago, his latest tweet on Twitter. In an effort to sabotage the anti-Hamas protests, once again, these are not anti-Hamas protests, members of the terror group launched 2 rockets against Israel from the north. Okay, so it's like, okay, so they're launching rockets against a country that's bombing their people. Okay, how is that disrupting, or how is that sabotaging the anti-Hamas protests? Eliciting deadly IDF airstrikes that killed and maimed dozens. Bro. It's literally just like every time Israel kills like 20 people, they're like, look at what you made me do. Israel's just like an abusive husband who's like, don't make me hit you, baby. Don't make me hit you. You look so pretty when you're not bruised up. You're making me hit you. It's just so fucking funny. Anyway, it's just like, Why did you make Israel do this? Doesn't Israel have an Iron Dome that shoots down rockets? Also, what the fuck are you talking about? 2 rockets? I thought this was a war. I thought this was a war that happened, where the resumption of the war caused these protests to break out. 2 rockets are notable in a war, apparently? Is Israel actually, like, I mean, is he actually making the claim that Israel is retaliating for 2 rockets with deadly airstrikes? Like, those airstrikes wouldn't have happened anyway? This is the guy that Ethan's like, he's a very smart. Also, what is this? What is this emoji? Like a tantrum emoji? Like he's throwing a tantrum at the end? This is the group that so many cheer for, even though it specifically wants dead Gazans. Bro, honestly, just like, shut the fuck up. Like, you're not contributing anything to society. But anyway, I'll like check him out more, see if I can come up with any other fun things. Why would you make me do this ethnic cleansing? Yeah, exactly. He's a collaborator. Can we get a picture of the Iron Dome? The Iron Dome. Oh shit, that's small. Alright, let's watch this video. How Israel's Iron Dome works. The 2 rockets that... So, I also love how they're like, Hamas bans protests. Hamas is like, it's so gross. It's such like a draconian, backwards... It's such a draconian, backwards governance that doesn't allow protesting. And then you look at the United States and Trump is literally deporting people because they protested Israel. And they're not letting people into the country, even just to visit family or friends, if they criticize Trump or Israel on social media. And then they're like, oh, Hamas is using brutal murders and beatings and executions to clamp down on these protests. And then this guy's like, Hamas fired 2 rockets to try to sabotage protests.
Coverage of the ongoing conflict in Israel has featured recurring images like this: missiles streaming across the sky and exploding midair. These are missiles from Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system, a land-based system that intercepts and destroys short-range rockets and mortars. It has become a bedrock of the country's defense since its introduction in 2011. And in the current round of hostilities, Israel's military said the system has intercepted more than 200 of the more than 1,000 rockets fired towards Israel as of May 12th. Here's how the complex detection and interception system works. The system is powered by missile
Anyway, I think this tweet kind of sums up how I'm feeling about this guy. Are you not seeing what Israel is doing, you slimy fool of a man? Like, this is such a fucking stupid tweet. And Ethan's like, yeah, you guys should watch him because he's extremely intelligent. And he's like a super peaceful man.
I show you this guy's comment to just kind of foil it against what you guys will see Hassan saying about these protesters in Gaza. I just said, follow him. What being pro-Palestine means to me. I am passionate.
Like, I just wonder if Ethan would see that tweet that the guy did 6 hours ago and what Ethan's reaction would be to that. Because I honestly think 6 months ago, Ethan would say, no, that's ridiculous. Like, Israel shouldn't be airstriking and killing dozens of people just because Hamas launched 2 rockets. That's dumb. Like, you have to have a diplomatic solution to this. I honestly think that's what he would say, but now I'm not so sure. Now I think he would actually agree with it and be like, no, like Hamas is entirely to blame for this, and they actually were trying to amp down on those protests by launching those rockets.
Unequivocally and without hesitance, a proponent of the Palestinian people's just and urgent aspirations for self-determination, liberation, sovereignty, and safety. I grew up in Gaza, where I experienced Israeli violence and bombardment, including one incident that almost killed me and caused me permanent hearing impairment. My family is still in Gaza and has suffered dozens of deaths during the latest war. My grandparents were expelled from their ancestral homelands in 1948 and fled to the Gaza Strip. My parents were raised in a refugee camp in Rafah during the 1950s. This background informs and influences me and speaks to why I care about the Palestinian issues and consider myself pro-Palestine. I am motivated by sincere desire to see my people obtain their legitimate and undeniable rights, which they have not had for decades. So he does that by like promoting unity, being against Hamas and terrorist groups and shit. And this guy gets fucking dogged on, bro. He gets treated like a straight like a traitor. And I mean, this guy's he's lived it. This guy has fucking lived it. Anyway, he's really amazing. I would check him out. And again, I just show that to kind of
Ethan about to
against
compare another Muslim person to a terrorist, and then catches himself. He gets treated like a straight scumbag. He gets treated like a scumbag.
Here's a clip of October 2023, right after October 7th, the same fucking month. Gee whiz, I wonder why that was. Explaining why I quit Twitter. That's one here.
There was one tweet I saw. This isn't the first time I saw it, but I saw someone post it and it was getting lots of likes. And the beautiful irony of this is, so it's a cartoon somebody created who put a lot of fucking effort into making a cartoon of Ela in an IDF uniform with a automatic weapon. And, she's all...
So just once again, guys, Ethan's done... Okay, let's just play this.
She's got like that kind of Nazi Jewish propaganda face, and she's just killing kids. She's just mowing down Palestinian babies. And what's kind of... I don't know, it's definitely not funny. I don't know what it is. You guys tell me. I know that shit was made by Nazis, like literal Nazis, and the people who I saw...
I know that for a fact because that video has a watermark on it, and it predates the October 7th. Like it was, and so like I just find it fucking fascinating that it's now being used by both sides.
Who are tweeting at this time were leftists. So I saw Nazis and leftists clapping hands together to say, fuck Israel. We agree on that. Let's clap it up, brother. And that was a weird feeling for me, and I was in a pretty bad shape. And so I've been trying to erase Twitter. I've been trying all weekend. Do you guys know how? And by the way, I can't thank you.
And I believe I have. This is when I erased it, and I haven't been on since. I've been off Twitter for a while. Wait, was October set? No, hold on. This war started. Hold on. This happened in 2023. So wait. This is actually a year after the war started, right?
What? I'm so
October 20.
When is this video from?
It says October 2023.
That would make
that was
sense.
the year that it... Yeah.
Okay, so this is right after it happened.
But your head shaved there from the subathon.
Okay.
Oh, good call.
So me quitting fucking Twitter because I'm seeing that it's being overrun by Nazis and leftists, and it's just like an extremely fucking toxic place where people are sending me cartoons of my wife killing kids. He characterizes me leaving that as cowardly because I'm avoiding criticism. Is that the kind of criticism that you want?
You left because of cartoon. Why don't you leave YouTube? People have posted that shit on YouTube too. Like, this is extremely stupid shit that he's saying. Like, why not just say I left it because the owner of Twitter is a Nazi? Or say I left it because the algorithm's promoting Nazi shit. No, it's because leftist people are posting a video that a Nazi made, and I know a Nazi made it because he timestamped or like he put a watermark on it. It's like, yeah, that's not good that Nazis are making videos about that shit, and that people are reposting things that aren't Nazi or that like were made by Nazis. It's like Nazis and conservatives appropriate leftist talking points all the time. It's like the whole populist thing. It's, oh, well, we need to like watch out for workers. They appropriate that shit. Nazis will sometimes appropriate anti-Israel stuff. And they will usually convert it into like the whole idea that Jews control the world. And they'll say, actually, like, America has completely been usurped by Jews. Like, white people in America have been usurped by Jews. And we know that's not the case. We know that America and Israel have like a mutually beneficial relationship. Like, what is he talking about? What is this? I left Twitter because someone posted a video about me there? That's a stupid idea to leave Twitter. And the reason Hassan was criticizing you was because, like, on your Instagram stories, people can't reply to them. At least I don't know. Can you reply to Instagram stories? They're disappearing. Unlike Twitter, where tweets stay up. And Hassan just made a comment like, oh yeah, Ethan can't handle it on Twitter because people can actually reply to whatever he says, which is fair to say. And you're dropping, and Ethan's like, well, I'll have you know, sir, that I was actually left Twitter on a moral stance because someone made a video about my wife. Okay, dude, it's on YouTube too. Why don't you leave YouTube? Also, I think this is hilarious. Ethan says that he left Twitter. Look at this shit. This was like a month ago. Or wait, on August 31st? Saturday, August 31st. Anyway, this is streamed on X. And Ethan's there. Like, Ethan's in these celebrity poker tournaments that are streamed on Twitter. And he's like, no, I'm not on Twitter. I left Twitter. I'm just streaming a product that gets paid by Twitter. I mean, the guy's so full of shit. He's literally on a product that's being streamed on Twitter. But anyway, I digress.
You expect me to entertain, Hassan? Videos of my wife killing kids? Is that what the fuck we're talking about? I mean, it's pathetic. Yada yada yada. Here is.
We're running out of time, by the way.
With you and suddenly...
We have about 20 minutes left, so.
And actually, I got to bounce.
Okay.
And Tom's out.
Tom is out of here.
Love.
Peace and love, bro.
Thanks for coming by, Tom.
I love you guys. Angels on
Happy birthday tomorrow. We'll see you
tomorrow.
for your big B-day.
It was Tom Day today, though, so don't expect anything tomorrow, okay?
What is Ligma?
What is Ligma?
Who knows? Bye, Tom. Have a good one.
Yeah, that's true.
I can stay
DJ.
till 4. It's funny, I'm starting early. You exactly
Okay,
said this
hold
was
on.
gonna happen.
The whole starting early thing isn't so that the show can be 4 hours. Chimp clipped.
Here, let me see.
I'm like some right-wing, like fucking neo person. And it's like, I don't agree with you, and suddenly I'm like some right-wing, like fucking neo person. Fuck you, dude. This guy cosplays like being a Muslim. Bro, you walk out anywhere with Hassan, he gets to be white, okay? I can't, unlike you, Hassan, I can't turn off my skin color, dude. I'm sorry, I have to deal with it everywhere I go, all right? I'm sorry, brother. Like, that's how it works. Fucking white savior fucking complex, dude. Every time, dude. Like fucking white guy telling me how to feel. Every single, it's a fucking, that's why I hate why I hate any of these people, dude. It's like, what is that? What is
I mean, bro. Okay. The guy's name is Hassan. His name is Hassan. And you're like, no, everywhere you go, Hassan can just look like a white guy. His name is Hassan. I'm just gonna say that. Also, I think it's fucking hilarious that Mutahar's like, oh, you get a pass as white, and so you're being a white savior. What? Is he criticizing Hassan for speaking up for Palestinians? Is he saying Hassan has white savior syndrome when he's criticizing his country's facilitation of a genocide? Is that what he's doing?
what is that? I hate Hassan, but you can't just admit you're wrong for once. Being neutral on, I'm not neutral on a genocide. I don't side against anyone. I just don't fucking agree with fucking like pushing like actual.
What? Okay, guys. Yeah, does he know what white savior means? Guys, I'm gonna run this back because this guy doesn't know what he's saying. His brain is not understanding the words that are coming out of his mouth.
It's like, what is that? What is that? I hate Hassan, but you can't just admit you're wrong for once. Being neutral on, I'm not neutral on a genocide. I don't side against anyone.
I'm not neutral on a genocide. I don't side against anyone. That's what being neutral is. No, I'm not neutral in World War II. I just don't side against anyone. Like, I don't side against the Germans. I don't side against the Americans. I'm not neutral. Yeah. Like, bro, just go back to gaming. Shut your brain off, my man.
Hassan, but you can't just admit you're wrong for once. Being neutral on, I'm not neutral on a genocide. I don't side against anyone. I just don't fucking agree with fucking like pushing like actual like these people do. These people jumping back. These people like actively go around.
This video is like extremely edited. I don't know if Ethan's skipping ahead, but he's like, I'm not neutral. I just don't side against anyone. I just don't agree with pushing terrorist propaganda. Okay. So he's saying, I don't agree with supporting Israel then, right? Because if we're comparing Israel to any of Israel's enemies, Israel's done way more terror than any of the groups fighting against Israel, right? So he's saying he doesn't agree with Ethan because Ethan has pushed pro-Israel propaganda. Okay, so why would Noah Samsen put this guy in this video? I think Mutahar actually does have a case against Noah Samsen because it really seems like Noah misjudged his positions. He's anti-Israel.
And like fucking glorify like groups that, by the way, have terrorized my own people. So no, I'm not.
Is Mutahar Palestinian? Is he Lebanese? Is he Yemeni? They couldn't even be bothered to serve him properly. He's out of his element. They just sent a letter. And bro, that's such weak shit. Is Mutahar like? I thought he was like Pakistani or something. Has Israel attacked Pakistan? Ordinary gamers. Oh, so he's just a YouTuber. He's not Mutahar Anas, better known online as Some Ordinary Gamers. Okay, it's throwing me off where his YouTube handle is plural, but it's actually just one guy. He's an Indian Canadian. Oh, so he's saying that Israel's targeted Canadians or Indians?
This is not a situation where like just because you're not with these people doesn't mean that you're not a fucking pro-Palestinian person. I care.
Just because you're not with Ethan doesn't mean you're not. Like, I'm trying to follow along with what he's saying, but it doesn't make any sense. So he's saying just because you're not with these people doesn't mean you're not pro-Palestinian. Just because you're not with pro-Palestinian voices doesn't mean you're not pro-Palestinian. Well, why are you not with them? You have to explain why you're not with them. And it's not, you can't just say, oh, well, he supports terrorists because Israel is labeling every Palestinian as a terrorist. Israelis consider babies to be terrorists. They're terror babies. They're going to grow up to be terrorists to fight against Israel. So we should just kill them now. So you need to explain how you are pro-Palestinian and what your differences with Hassan are.
About Palestinian people. I want them to be fucking safe. Just because I don't agree with this guy doesn't mean that I don't agree with every single.
Well, unfortunately, my friend, Hassan is the movement. And that's exactly what happens. If you disagree with him, the narrative, the story that they've all cooked up, you become a genociding, supporting a Nazi. Welcome to the club, Muda.
I like his mic setup a lot, actually.
It's so funny. It's like, bro, I know you're a piece of shit, Ethan, but I don't know if this is the type of guy that you want to be teaming up with. The guy who defended Asmongold for saying that Palestinians were an inferior culture. Like Mutahar famously defended that statement. It's like, oh, well, he probably wasn't talking about all Palestinians. He was just talking about the militants. Yeah, the culture of only the militant Palestinians, like only Hamas. The culture of Hamas, which is distinct from the culture of other people in Gaza.
Really sick, and like he's pretty far from it too.
He's got the Lemmy Kilmeister from Motorhead. That's how he would have his mic on stage. I dig it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thing that he pushes. Some of the stuff that he pushes, I think, is genuinely bad. Simple as that.
Yeah, God forbid, you know what I mean? And so he's now being harassed in his own community because of shit that Hassan has pushed and Noah Samsen has pushed.
To me, it's hard.
You know, and the man is a practicing Muslim. And I was talking to him. He's like, I don't fucking want people like Hassan promoting terrorists. And I see these groups as people that are like, you know, giving my religion and my people like a bad name. Like these fucking terrorists are the worst, you know? And like, so that's his fucking opinion as a Muslim man.
Sure.
And yet when Ethan talks about any kind of Jewish person that speaks out about Israel, that says, I don't want Israel to use Jewishness to do a genocide. I don't want Israel to use the idea of Jewishness to justify their genocide. That's my position as a Jewish person. Then Ethan says, you're a token, you're a capo. These people are just using you to get to their ends. But when Mutahar says, I don't want people to promote Palestinians because I'm a Muslim and it might make me look bad. Then Ethan's like, we have to respect his feelings. He's a precious little snowflake, and if you support Palestinians too hard, you might get Mutahar to feel bad about himself in some way.
And like to fucking characterize him as some race traitor like Hassan and those do is, it's just like, it's just inhumane. It's like just so fucking gross, dude.
Give me an example of Hassan accusing Mutahar of being a race traitor, because I'd love to hear that.
I read Mutah's statement already, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude. Shock ostrich. That is horrifying. I did not notice that tattoo until I read your comment. Hela staring into my soul.
Noah, my boy here, he made a...
Since I released my
So in the first video called, let me see.
You may want to prioritize here a little bit, just because of the limit.
The part I know that I want to
to
watch is in the beginning.
Okay.
The YouTubers who backed the genocide, yeah. And this one, he accuses me of... So thin, man. Let's see. Here he explains why he thinks I support genocide. Let's take a look.
The liberal framework of thought is only able to conceptualize actors in conflict as being good and bad. Israel's far-right government is bad, Ethan says, but so are terrorists. Genocide is bad. I don't agree with genocide, of course, but hijacking ships is bad too. It's against the law, which is bad. Everybody should just stop doing bad stuff. Okay, well, Israel's not stopping. They're not stopping the genocide.
Yeah, bro, and again, your simplistic, moronic take on all this is the problem. The Houthis aren't doing shit. They're taking over vessels that are completely unrelated to Israel. Like, give me a fucking break, dude. You know?
The U.S.
What
is
else
doing
did he say?
hijacking ships, terrorists, good and bad. Israel's far-right government is bad, Ethan says, but so are terrorists. Genocide.
Imagine, what a crazy opinion.
You're nuts, dude.
Yo, get a load of this
You are
genocide
actually
supporter.
fucking unhinged.
Genocide is bad. I don't agree with genocide, of course, but hijacking ships is bad too. It's against...
Yeah, when you're yes, it is. I'll say it.
Well, and he
Guilty as
he
charged.
goes on to say because it's against the law. No, not necessarily because, like, inherently because it's against the law, because
It's dumb.
they kidnapped and took hostages a bunch of innocent people, man.
Yeah, and
Like, that's the part
cargo
that's
that had
bad.
nothing to do with Israel. It was like headed for Europe, for Italy from like India or some shit like that.
It was like a
Against the law.
Filipino crew or something.
Yeah, it was like they kidnapped like 12 Filipino dudes.
which is bad. Everybody should just stop doing bad stuff. Okay, well, Israel's not stopping. They're not stopping the genocide. The U.S. is not stopping its arms shipments so that Israel can continue that
And at what point am I supporting genocide?
genocide. That is the material reality. If you
It's kind of sad, but like honestly, the Houthis in Yemen have been the most effective resistance to this genocide. Like by simply targeting vessels that are in the Red Sea, which are within range of their missiles, America, without going to war with Iran, which they want to do anyway, really can't stop the Houthis from stopping shipping through that lane. Like, they're not gonna, the cost of having warships in the Red Sea with like anti-missile defense systems to allow cargo ships to travel through is just astronomical. It'd be cheaper to send them around the Cape of Africa. And also, like, bombing Yemen, that's not going to stop. That's not going to stop these missiles from being fired because, once again, they don't have factories that are producing these missiles. They get them from Iran, and you can fire a missile from anywhere. You don't need like a specific missile launching building that is like irreplaceable. And like one guy firing one missile would stop shipping companies from going through, because what shipping company wants their ships to have even the threat of getting hit with a missile? So yeah, like it's definitely effective. And these guys are just like, yeah, it's bad. Yeah, it is bad. And maybe when groups are using a genocide, and you can say whatever you want about their true motivations, maybe they're using it to gain notoriety, maybe they're doing it to just act up, and they're like, oh, this is our chance to flex our muscles. Well, maybe you should stop the genocide so that other groups won't do stuff like this. Like, that's probably the easiest way to get them to stop.
actually want that genocide to stop, you need to do something material to try to stop it.
What are you
Take
doing?
hostages off random ships?
Like bitching about on a YouTube video? What is he? Is he doing that right now?
Someone should Photoshop that Hila tattoo and replace the text with Yoav Gallant is a good guy, like above Ethan's arm.
I think he thinks he's doing that.
I don't know, man.
You're fucking bitching. Bro, literally, oh my God, your grandma lets you film in her living room? The fireplace is here. Did you really force grandma out of her own living room? Holy shit. Or is it there's no extra rooms and he sleeps? This is his futon, probably.
I've fallen, and I
Is this your
can't get
futon,
up.
Noah? Come on, Noah. I'd be a communist too if that's where I lived. I get it. You know, it's like, fuck. I
think he
gotta
probably
work?
owns this
He's
house.
like, what, I
The
gotta-
joke of it looking like a grandma's house, I get it. But
If
it
he
probably
lives
is
there,
not.
that's even more cringe, bro.
I mean,
I know people who
it looks kind of
vibe
nice
with
in there.
that.
I don't know.
Nah, that shit's whack, bro. That's mentally ill if that's his place.
It's not that bad. Come on.
It's like there's a fireplace behind Noah and some like sick ass old furniture there, and then a couch. And Ethan's like, that's all what. I mean, bro, he has nothing. There's a reason why he continuously criticizes Bad Empanada for his background on his videos.
Yeah, he's like, yo, I don't want to work, dude. I want if only we had communism, I wouldn't have to work. Where's the revolution at? Shut up, bitch. Dumbass loser. That's right. And I'm kidding, by the way, just to say that for obvious reasons.
And so far in the world, the only people doing that outside of Gaza.
So you are going to give yourself a disclaimer to say you're kidding about the decor of Noah's room, but you're not going to say you're kidding about Noah issuing death threats to you. You were dead, like you were genuinely serious about Noah saying we should kill Ethan Klein, which you said he said. Like, once again, this is complete defamation that Noah did to, or that Ethan did to Noah.
It's me making videos shitting on people.
Did your grandma paint it? Did you cut your grandma into a percentage of your operation since you're living in her house? Fucking fake socialist commie bastard.
And putting sponsored ads on them.
Militarily are Hezbollah and Ansar Allah.
not
If you
him.
spend all your time
Hezbollah and the Houthis are the only ones stepping up to the plate.
attacking these groups while sitting on the sidelines, idealistically opining.
But what's ironic is me and you are doing the same amount for the people in Gaza. Like, measurably, on the whole, me and you, my friend, put us...
Okay, so, bro, once again, Ethan doesn't actually have an argument against this. He's like, oh, yeah, you say Hezbollah and the Houthis are stepping up to the plate and they're doing the most for the people in Gaza. Doesn't respond to that at all because it's actually just true. Like, putting pressure on Israel through commercial, like, through dampening commercial activity, and then also just like bombing Israel, like shooting rockets at Israel, that's pressuring Israel as well. And then Ethan's like, but what's ironic is you and I are doing the same amount for Gaza. Like, you're literally agreeing with Noah then that the Houthis and Hezbollah are actually putting pressure on Israel. And also, this is, I mean, bro, just once again, it's not true. Like, he's trying to say, you're just saying things, I'm just saying things, or actually what we say doesn't matter, and I voted for Kamala Harris, and maybe you didn't vote for Kamala Harris, so I actually did more than you. Like Ethan saying, I do more for people in Gaza than Hassan because I voted for Kamala Harris, which is hilarious. It's also like not true. Like, just objectively voting for Kamala Harris to not, like, she lost the fucking election. But the other thing is, does Ethan actually think that your output has no effect at all? Like, if Ethan believed this, then why would he create a content nuke for Hassan? Like, he's just saying things that goes against his entire reason of being. He is a YouTuber, and he's saying that YouTube is meaningless, that, like, speaking publicly about things is meaningless. Like, you're just making an argument against speech, like public speech in general. And he acts like this is this great point.
Side by side, our contributions would be equal. Being zero, basically, right? I mean, being zero. Although, I don't know, maybe mine's more, because I did donate the infamous $6,500.
We don't. I'm sure he
might have. I don't know. He
Most
might.
likely.
I mean, let's find out. Let's look. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Most likely.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a safe assumption.
Yeah, I mean, that's an assumption, you know. I'm curious.
Fine, whatever.
on what forms of resistance are acceptable to you, then you're supporting the genocide. Full stop. There's something to be said.
That's just such a fucking leap, dude.
That is insanely fucking. Like again, he's
that
calling
is such
me
a fucking leap. I mean, I don't know what else to
me
say.
and Muda publicly genocide supporters because we think terrorism is bad, because we disagree with Houthis and Hezbollah. That's his fucking reasoning. He also kind of touches on it in the beginning here too.
Since I released my video, The YouTubers Who Backed a Genocide, there have been some developments. Ethan Klein responded to the video with an Instagram story shortly after its release, where he wrote, "God, these bread tubers are such pathetic fucking rats. When the fuck did I ever support a genocide? I criticize your idol Hassan, and you all resort to straight up character assassination and horrific lies. A campaign which resulted in the CPS call and harassment like I've never experienced in my 15."
And yes, when you label me as someone who's okay with mass murdering an ethnic group, it creates me as a subhuman that people can harass and do anything they want to, including CPS. Like, yes, you are contributing to that fucking atmosphere.
Years on YouTube. Fuck you and fuck your movement. Socialism deserves better.
I do appreciate how delusional Ethan is at this point, where a guy shows up to his house from CPS. The CPS agent says, someone you know that has been in your house before called CPS on us, and they say that like we need to go check out your house. Apparently it was a credible enough call with enough information that made CPS actually send an agent over to the house. That doesn't happen for every call. If someone was just like joke calling CPS wouldn't go out there because there's not enough like credible information to go out and actually investigate. But Ethan says that so anyway, Ethan says that the fucking guy who called CPS, or the guy that came to the house from CPS, said it was someone that has been in Ethan's house and that knows Ethan, called CPS. And Ethan still blames Noah Sampson's video for it. So it's like he's assuming that the guy that he knows watched Noah Sampson's video and then called CPS for stuff that's completely unrelated to the content of Noah Sampson's video. But it's like Noah activated these sleeper agents that are now out to get Ethan, that are actually in Ethan's personal life just through this video. And people are targeting Ethan through things completely unrelated to the video. Like, is the maid suing Ethan also activated by Noah Sampson's video? Guys, bad things are happening to me, and when you accuse someone of supporting genocide, then that's going to give the green light for people that hate you to do bad things to you. It's like, bro, are you gonna blame your fucking tattoo artist for giving you a shitty tattoo because you watched Noah Sampson's video?
Representatives. Soon after this post, Ethan brought my video up during his live show where he threatened to sue me.
So this fucking little scumbag here who put me and Mutahar, Turkey Tom, and Destiny in a thumbnail and said the YouTubers who backed the genocide. This is fucking disgusting. And I'm not okay living in this world where these little fucking punk ass scumbags can just say this shit and get away with it. Like accusing people, usually defamation, can be all different types of things. Someone supporting genocide, we throw.
What's happening right now? Is Ethan talking and covering his mouth, or is he playing a video?
Who backed the genocide. This is fucking disgusting. And I'm not okay living in this world where these little fucking punk ass scumbags can just say this shit and get away with it. Like accusing people, usually defamation, can be all different types of things. Someone supporting genocide, we throw this term around.
I feel like I'm watching like an animated video right now where the character covers their mouth so that the animators don't have to animate their lips. Like, what is Ethan talking right now? He's forced to listen to sniffs. Oh, he's playing a video.
A lot. That's one of the most, I mean, can you say something more fucked up about somebody than that? Sounds pretty defamatory. And again, I'm not taking any prisoners. If my attorney thinks there's anything in here, if he thinks that there's like a decent shot of defamation, I'm suing this fucking piece of shit. It's a little scumbag.
So he is threatening to sue me for
I'll tell you, and I'm going to spoil it. It's not a threat. You'll be hearing from us very soon, my friend. Start crowdfunding, start looking for an attorney. You know what I mean?
Bro, I'm sorry, but like a cease and desist letter is quite literally a threat. That is the definition of a threat. Take this down or we're going to sue you. That's what a threat is.
It's gonna be fun.
That's probably not true.
That's why I said it like fun.
No, I don't think it'll be fun.
Oh my god, he's such a fucking bitch.
It's a legend.
I accidentally pressed 0 on my keyboard and I restarted the video. Is there anything else on this that's relevant? Like, it's just so painful listening to these guys.
I mean, it's gonna be fun.
That's probably not true.
That's why I said it like fun.
No, I don't think it'll be fun.
Yo, I eat up and chew out $20,000 per month on lawyers like nothing. You don't know my world. You can live one day in my shoes, man.
That's unfortunately true.
Defamation on the grounds that accusing someone of supporting genocide is messed up. I can think of something even
And well, okay, messed up, primarily though untrue. You know, that's defamation. Okay.
more messed up than accusing someone of supporting genocide, which is, you know, actually supporting genocide. I can't
he's doubling down on it, and let's hear his
imagine that it's pleasant to be confronted with the idea that you might be supporting a genocide. So the instinct here to deflect and deny without even offering any sort of actual defense against the points is an entirely predictable response. This is how...
Again, he's like, where's your response, bro? It's like you just put these videos out, man. It takes a minute to draft a complaint, dude. You know, those are delicate processes.
How the liberal media class will operate in the coming decades when it's time to answer.
I think he meant like your verbal response. He's like, okay, all you did was deflect and threaten to sue me. Yeah, that's the response. That's all the response that Ethan has. And Ethan's like, okay, well, it comes up with time to sue someone. It wasn't talking about where's your lawsuit.
For their crimes of manufacturing consent for a genocide. They will simply say, no, I didn't. If they say anything at all, most of them won't. It's happened throughout history. It happened with the Vietnam War. It happened with the invasion of Iraq. And it'll happen again with Gaza. What makes
Is he talking about me still? You know what I mean? He's talking about the media's responsibility. He's talking about some dumb...
Well, have you ever owned up?
Holy shit, bro. Ethan's so fucking stupid. Like, it's so painful to listen to him. He's talking about people that deny genocides in general. He's talked about you, and then he says, yeah, and this is something that we've seen in the past, and he like flashes up some other mainstream news sources.
To what you did in Vietnam?
I don't recall being in Vietnam. It could be another lifetime thing. Could be.
Holy fuck, dude, it's so fucking annoying. They just go off in their own little la-la land. They can't stick to anything.
Palestinians in Gaza has been called the first
not a factual
ever
statement either. People didn't know that there were atrocities being committed in Vietnam at the time.
It's also
contemporaneously.
Kind of, yeah, people.
They absolutely
That's
did.
why the Vietnam War protests were so intense. So
No, it's not because of the atrocities that were happening. It's because people were being drafted and the government was wasting a ton of money. And it was like a never-ending war that we couldn't win. It's not because there were genocides going on and atrocities happening. Holy shit. All right, let's go to the Wikipedia page. Civil rights, feminist, and Chicano movements, as well as sectors of organized labor. Okay, so what was the reason for the resistance? He was reelected. They did the draft. Nixon began the drawdown of U.S. troops. Protests spiked after the announcement of the expansion of the war into Cambodia. So yeah, they're protesting against the expansion of the war. Like, they literally are spiking because the war was expanding into like a never-ending war. Causes of opposition. The draft, a system of conscription that mainly drew from minorities and lower and middle-class whites, inspired much of the protests after 1965. Opposition to the war arose during the time of unprecedented student activism, which included the free speech movement and civil rights movement. The military draft mobilized the baby boomers, who were most at risk of being drafted, but the opposition grew to include a varied cross-section of Americans. Growing opposition to the Vietnam War was partly attributed to greater access to uncensored information through extensive television coverage on the ground in Vietnam. Anti-war protesters primarily made moral arguments against U.S. involvement in Vietnam. In May 1954, preceding the Quaker protest but just after the defeat of the French, they bought a page in the New York Times to protest what seemed to be the tendency of the U.S. to step into Indochina as France was stepping out. The moral imperative argument against the war was especially popular among American college students, who were more likely than the general public to accuse the United States of having imperialistic goals in Vietnam and to criticize the war as immoral. Civilian deaths, which had been downplayed or omitted entirely by the Western media, became a subject of protest when photographic evidence of casualties emerged. The infamous photo of General Nguyen Nhan Lone shooting a Viet Cong captive in handcuffs during the Tet Offensive also provoked a public outcry. So yes, there was some public outcry about this, but the majority of the protests were against the draft and the expansion of the war. I mean, also, like, there's no comparison between certain images being posted and what we're seeing now, which is like the first genocide being directly broadcasted onto social media.
Well, this other, like, that's just such a weird
Also,
thing.
Iraq War. I mean,
Right.
the Gulf War. There was all
I remember being there. I was at the protest.
Ukraine. What about fucking happening in Ukraine? There's all kinds of insane combat footage coming out of that.
Yeah. It's just a weird, he's just framing it in a bizarre way.
To them.
Also, this isn't a war. This is genocide that's going on. Once again, even the comparison of this to the Gulf War, even to the Vietnam War, is Israeli apologia. This is defending what Israel's doing and making it seem more normal than what is actually going on. This is not a war by any stretch. Like, this is not a war, just full stop.
And it's like, I don't know, for people like him, not only, it's like what's happening in Palestine is not only like the most important thing in the world, it's also important for them to downplay all other atrocities and lift it up like they're not worthy. Like, look how these leftists talk about what's happening in Ukraine. They fucking despise Ukrainian people because they think they're like
they're all Nazis.
Just completely made that up. I thought Ethan was the one who in a video like a few weeks ago said we must keep Palestinians at the top of our minds. Did he not say that? Like, obviously he doesn't do that. But even he, at least a few weeks ago, before this latest like genocidal kick that he's been on, at least had the decency and wherewithal to say we must keep the plight of Palestinians at the top of our minds always. And now he's criticizing Noah Samson for making a video about a genocide. Is he really criticizing Noah for that? And it's not downplaying other atrocities. If you are comparing certain atrocities to Gaza, you are downplaying Gaza. Because in no other situation have we ever had this amount of people being killed so quickly by an occupying power. Like, this has never happened before.
white victim. They're trying to pull victim card. A bunch of whiteys pulling a victim card. Obviously, I'm not saying that what's happening in Gaza isn't fucking paramount importance, right?
Yeah, it's horrific.
I mean, I'm just saying there's lots of horrific things, but these people, it's like, this is the only time in human history we've been able to see what happens in a war.
Yeah.
This isn't a war.
Right. But he also says here,
hold
on.
Entire time. Israel's genocide of Palestinians in Gaza has been called the first ever live streamed genocide.
Called by who? Just you right now?
Right, because we've seen the entire...
Also, yeah, it contradicts this narrative that, like, there's no journalists allowed in Gaza, there's no coverage, nothing's there. It's like, is it that, or is it the first live streamed war? I mean, I know journalists aren't allowed in Gaza, by the way, but there is a ton of fucking good reporting happening from Gazan people.
Yeah, and why aren't journalists allowed in Gaza? Because Israel won't let them in. And the Palestinian journalists that are there are getting murdered by Israel. But you won't hear Ethan talking about that at all, will you? No, Ethan's just like, why are you guys complaining about, like, no journalists being let in? Because there are journalists there. Yeah, and they're getting fucking killed by the country that you want to go visit and show your audience of 1.7 million people how awesome it is. Or 2.7 million people, how awesome it is.
Thing as it's happened with high-definition cell phone video. The mass destruction, the ruthless attacks on the healthcare system, the deliberate targeting of men, women, children, medics, aid workers.
Again, all bad.
Why'd you do this?
Did I do this? He's really setting it up like, well, did he give a reason why did he give a reason yet?
I haven't caught it.
Not really.
Okay, so far he's saying...
we are genuinely almost out of time.
Let me finish this part and then we can save the rest. So his point right now is Ethan supports genocide because what's happening in Gaza is bad. So far.
workers, the intentional starvation used by Israel as a weapon of war, and then the massacres that followed that starvation when Palestinians crowded around aid trucks trying to get what little food Israel was allowing into the Strip. The 20,000 slain children.
Again, bro, like, why are you
It's just misery porn at this point.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what it is, man. And this is all in reference to why I support genocide.
Many of them slaughtered with their entire families. The IDF terrorists recording and posting their war crimes.
Yeah, explaining a genocide is not going to be a walk through the park, Dan. Showing the actions of a genociding country is going to be miserable. It's going to have scenes of utter human despair and misery. And Dan sits there and fucking says, it's just misery porn at this point. He throws his hands up in exasperation. Ugh, Noah, you just keep showing Israelis doing war crimes. I mean, it's just misery porn at this point. Why even do it, Noah? No, just stop showing Israel's war crimes. I mean, it's fucking crazy to me, man. Like, first of all, it's not gore. It's not like against TOS. This is war crimes that Noah's showing that have been documented. And the reason he's showing these war crimes is to prove the point that we've never had a documented genocide as much as this. Like, we've never had a genocide documented as much as what we have now. These two fuckers are like, oh, well, like, why are you saying that this is the first well-documented war? He didn't say war, he said genocide. And then he goes on to show examples how well documented it is, and they're like, well, just stop showing it, like it's just misery porn at this point. Honestly, like, Dan is a piece of shit too.
Acts of humiliation, degradation, their torture and rape of Palestinians. The full support of Israel throughout all of these atrocities.
Again, what does this have to do with me?
The vile, dehumanizing racism that is required to uphold a project like this.
I just think we need to kill them, every one of them, and that's it. And if not that,
then he shows a bunch of Israelis or Jewish people saying horrific stuff, and I hate to break.
Or Israelis or Jewish people, because Ethan always has to cry anti-Semitism. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, dude, people in Israel are not all Jewish, as you say so yourself. And there's plenty of non-Jews that also think all Palestinians need to be killed. I mean, do we need to go to any number of senators who are completely white, completely non-Jewish, and they're like, you support UNRWA, you're a terrorist supporter, or that one Republican who is just getting yelled at, and he's like, no, Mahmoud Khalil is a terrorist, end of discussion.
It to you, buddy, but I could make the same fucking compilation of Palestinians saying horrific stuff about Israelis.
Okay, do it. Do it, Ethan. I mean, one side is actually carrying out what they're saying, and the other side is getting killed off by the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands at this point. But yeah, go ahead and make that video, bro. Make the video, Ethan. I mean, just once again, guys, let's really break this down into little digestible parts. Noah Samson is making the claim that Ethan is defending a genocide or supporting a genocide. Ethan is saying, I'm not supporting a genocide. Why are you saying I support a genocide? Noah Samson puts up clips of a country carrying out the genocide and then interviews with people of that country supporting the genocide. Ethan sits there and is like, you have interviews of people supporting a genocide, but I could also put up interviews of people that are getting genocided saying that they hate the people that are genociding them. See, two can play at this game. You're proving Noah's point. In the defense of you being like, I'm not supporting the genocide, you insist on defending the genocide supporters. Why are you defending the genocide supporters? Why are you saying, okay, well, fine, you have some Israelis or Jews, because you're anti-Semitic, Noah. You have some Jews saying they support genocide, but I could find Palestinians saying that they support genocide too. Where is the genocide happening, Ethan? But Ethan doesn't actually believe there is a genocide. As we know, he's reverted back, like he's been brainwashed enough by Israeli media to say that now it's a war. Like, oh, well, Hamas is causing the war to continue. Why are you saying, like, Noah Samson says, this is the first live stream genocide. Ethan says, why is he saying this is the first documented war? We have other wars that are documented.
And I mean, it's like so dumb.
The country will not let that happen. The government just
Also, not me. I don't say what these people say. I've never said anything like what these people say. So what?
Yeah, so why are you getting so triggered when Noah Samson puts up videos of citizens of a country doing a genocide, defending that genocide? Why are you getting triggered? Why is your first instinct to not even defend them, but attack the people that they are in favor of being genocided? Why is that Ethan's first instinct to be like, well, it's a both sides issue? Like, that's literally what he's doing. I mean, just once again, like, Ethan isn't full on like bloodthirsty Zionist. He's not like a full-on expansionist, fundamentalist Zionist. He is a Zionist. He is Islamophobic. But he's not willing to go out there and be like, we must murder all Muslim people so that Israel's safe. He's not willing to do that. But what he is willing to do is say, we must have an ethno-state so the people of Israel are safe. And why are you only focusing on Israel? This is a both sides issue. So he is both sidesing this. And in that regard, it is supporting of the genocide. He refers to it as war. He says that, oh, well, you have videos of Israelis being bloodthirsty, but Hamas is just as bloodthirsty. So I could put together a compilation of Palestinians being bloodthirsty, or as Ethan would say, Gazans being bloodthirsty. This is a both sides issue in Ethan's mind. And in Ethan's mind, Hamas has just as much agency as the IOF, if not more agency as the IOF, in ending the war, as Ethan puts it. So yeah, Ethan, he's not genocidal, but he doesn't see what's happening as a genocide, and that's just as bad. That's honestly just as bad. When you insist on saying, you guys are overreacting, why do you only focus on this? It's not as though other bad things aren't happening. Or like, you can only focus on what Israel's doing, and you downplay other atrocities throughout history. He is saying this isn't like a genocide that's going on. Or if you do compare it to the Holocaust, Ethan will then say, you are sullying the name of Holocaust survivors, or you're being anti-Semitic by comparing it to the Holocaust. Yeah, so like, he's all over the place, but at the end of the day, Ethan just can't bring himself to actually say that this is a genocide, because if he ever did say that, he would have to take a stand against what Israel's doing and the fundamental nature of Israel as an ethno-state, and he just doesn't want to do that. He likes Israel as an ethno-state.
Exactly is your justification?
do is just kick them out of the land because this is our home, this is our land, and we deserve it.
What do you think about Palestinians?
That I hate them, and I wish they all we didn't stop.
Like, and by these kids are fucking dumbasses. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a bunch of dumb fucks on Omegle, saying dumb, horrific shit. You know, it's like this doesn't impugn the entire country.
You're gonna kill everyone?
Yes, yes.
You guys are animals. You guys
Part of what he did in the first video that was so repulsive is he makes the argument that nobody in Israel is innocent. Essentially, he's saying everybody in Israel is a legitimate military target and nobody there is innocent. So this is part of his crusade to basically greenlight, manufacture consent, I might say, for hate against Israelis and potentially violence too, and Jews who like Israel.
And
animals
like
You 10,000 kids.
10,000 kids that would grow up to be the next. 10,000 kids that would grow up to be the next terrorist.
Really?
Because the first time,
Yeah, I mean, listen, this girl's like 8. Do you think I would ever say anything like that? Have I ever said anything like that?
I'm Palestinian. Doesn't
I'm just gonna skip this because it's just more of that.
yeah.
Oh my God.
We've seen all of this, which is why the whole "no, I didn't" defense doesn't.
He goes, didn't you see these fucking children on Omegle saying horrible things? Like, we've seen it all, buddy. We've got the proof.
hold up because, you know, yes, you did. We have you on video during this genocide that everyone saw, spreading propaganda that's been used to justify that genocide.
It's so vile to deny the suffering and trauma of the victims just because you need your heroes at Hamas to be perfect.
My friends defeated.
He didn't even, he just showed it. He didn't even refute my point.
Maybe it was in the first video or something?
No, he doesn't. He does not address it. He just shows it.
Well, that's okay.
He literally just shows it. He doesn't even fucking address it. My point here.
What he's saying is, it's.
I'm doing propaganda by saying that. we should believe that these women were raped and not treat them like they're liars.
I mean, he literally says there's no forensic evidence to support the rape claims, nor does Israel. Blah. I mean, you can't read it, but he's refuting it with text. Can you read? Can he read? Like, guys, there's text right here, and Ethan's not reading it out.
Right.
That's supporting a genocide.
Like Ethan said, Denhams didn't believe this woman when this woman said she was raped. But the woman never said she was raped. Apparently. I don't know. Yeah, that's what Noah's claiming, and you're saying he's not refuting it, but he included text that refutes what you're saying.
He says. But how is this fucking propaganda? Like, this girl says she heard of people raping, and then it cuts to a woman who's like, I was sexually assaulted. I show all that, and he doesn't address it. He just shows it. Oh, he just does this text. Oh yeah, this text here.
Right.
Oh,
he couldn't be fucked to say something about it. What is this from? Who said this? Like what? Like, can I see above and below this tiny little fucking excerpt? If you're gonna call me that I'm doing propaganda, you could try a little harder than that.
I mean, once again, bro, he's refuting your propaganda claims, and you're like, okay, well, I mean, can I get some more context for the refutation? Why don't you do research into it? You're the one who made the claim in the first place. You should have the burden of evidence. I mean, yeah, Noah's refuting you, but just once again, if you make a claim without evidence, then it can be like disproved without evidence, or it can be disregarded without evidence. You need evidence to make a claim.
Again, trauma of the victims. Just because you need your heroes at Hamas to be perfect.
My friends, defeating our brutal enemies requires...
Once again, I don't know why you're showing Netanyahu. He's saying I talk like him?
And clarity. Clarity begins by knowing the difference between good and evil. And these monsters,
wow.
They rape women, they burnt babies alive. Many anti-Israel protesters, many choose to stand with evil. They stand with Hamas. They stand with rapists and murderers.
The Gazan so he's saying that my rhetoric matches Netanyahu.
You are the same as Netanyahu, and also there's no proof that anybody was raped on.
Which is just, it's crazy they keep echoing that. They show the UN report, which I used, which has certain excerpts like this, but the overwhelming conclusion is that it did happen. I feel like I'm losing my fucking mind, dude. Like, literally just go to the conclusion of the UN.
I mean, the part that he showed an excerpt, my understanding of it, which maybe I shouldn't even be fucking weighing in because who the fuck am I? But there is no forensic evidence or whatever, that like little clip
because
that
they're
he showed.
dead. It's all eyewitness.
That was my understanding.
But
the
how,
majority of the people that sexual violence happened to.
Since when do we just believe people with forensic evidence of rape?
It also just, I mean,
since when is that the fucking standard?
It just seems.
It's been reported
like
by dozens of fucking people on separate different occasions, man.
All right.
Hostages, people, casualties from October 7th, people that saw it. Like, it says its number of.
Also, if I was Noah.
Like, okay, guys, there have been statements made by hostages alleging sexual violence, which, yeah, but I don't think there's been any statements about sexual violence from October 7th. And so when he says, oh, since when is the standard of evidence forensic evidence? Well, when no one's making the claim, you need forensic evidence to determine if there was sexual violence or not. And yeah, there just isn't. Like, I mean, we can look at the UN report, as Ethan loves to refer to. Reasonable grounds to believe conflict-related sexual violence occurred in Israel during the 7th of October attacks, senior UN official tells Security Council. Reviewed over 5,000 photographic images and some 50 hours of footage of the attacks. It was a catalog of the most extreme and inhumane forms of killing, torture, and other horrors, including sexual violence, she stated. Wait, why is the including sexual violence out of the quotes? What? Okay, that's weird. Why do they quote her and then they use including sexual violence outside of the quotes? The team also found convincing information that sexual violence was committed against hostages and has reasonable grounds to believe that such violence may still be ongoing against those in captivity. While there are reasonable grounds to believe that conflict-related sexual violence occurred in the Nova Music Festival site for 232 and Kibbutz Re'im, reported incidents of rapes could not be verified in other locations. Concurrently, the team determined that at least 2 allegations of sexual violence in Kibbutz Be'eri, widely reported in the media, were unfounded. So, I mean, yeah, like, the thing is this: Israel isn't a very open country in terms of information and allowing independent investigations to operate within their borders. And there haven't really been good investigations into the October 7th attack. And I think in part it's because Israel was so embarrassed that Hamas was able to do so much. I also think it was because the IOF killed a lot of Israeli citizens that were caught in the crossfire with Hamas fighters. A bunch of SA cases don't get taken this seriously. Well, that's true also. When we're talking about like domestic cases and how things are handled by the police in America, it's like we're accusing people of not taking sexual assault seriously on October 7th, when, I mean, not taking sexual assault seriously in America and the UK and other Western countries is like a huge issue that Ethan obviously doesn't really give a shit about because it's not Israel.
I wouldn't get into the whole rape denial lane.
Oh, he straight up is all in it.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, and then we saw this. So I think we're done here. It's just so painful. So let's get into the lawsuit. What does he do? So he does the Justin Bieber situation went catastrophic, and then Noah Sampson retract or lawyer up. So is the Justin Bieber situation just that he's ugly? Is that all that the Justin Bieber situation is? Like, he used to be hot, now he's looks like a meth addict. Okay, this is gonna be, oh, he called in. This is, oh, okay. All right, timestamps, my favorite. Thank you, timestamp boy.
For this.
Whoever does
Like,
it.
let it play out.
Well,
Because
so
I feel there is a solid case.
the coping is because
I know I kind of have a bad camera angle, but what the fuck is this? We have to like stare at Mutahar's unpaid bills or whatever the hell those envelopes are in the background. HReadlore.com. Lion with a mask responded. It's starting. Okay, let's just start from here. Oh my god, this is so long. Oh my god. Oh my god, like literally it just doesn't stop. Intro to demand for correction. Regarding the whole demand for correction, some ordinary gamers call in. Why is his username plural if it's just him on his channel? Does he collaborate with other people? Back to the demand letter. It just doesn't stop. Okay, Nate gift for Ethan. We can skip that. Regarding Mike from PA. Responding to Hassan. Oh my god. Hassan's merch. The H3 iceberg? Okay, well, we can skip like... Oh my god, what time is it, guys? Have you ever been painted a mural at your local library? I haven't, but I should. That sounds fun. Alright, let's just get into this. We're already in here. It's to account for the voices in his head.
we are. Someone was hurt. If someone was hurt, it'd be not funny. We are. Let the games begin.
Let the games begin.
Going 1.5.
Let the chess pieces are laid on the board. The players are on the stage.
28? What is this? Do I need to listen to the intro? Is that what you're saying, Kate?
Hello, everybody. Today, oh my God, it's Sunny's birthday today. I just realized. Oh wait.
Tomorrow.
No, sorry, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. Stop. It's tomorrow.
Bro.
It's 4/3. He's gonna be 1 year old. Sorry, I got confused because Bruce's birthday's on the 2nd.
Oh, the time. Oh, the time. I thought you were saying go to 28 seconds. All right, I'm skipping this.
Also,
I'm the first Jew on stage.
Oh yeah, Kev says he's the first Jew on stage in Texas. What an insanely stupid thing. What an idiot.
Whoa.
Oh, let me see that one. Okay, we fucked with that.
That one's fucking sick.
Where is that? Is it over here?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
You won't be able to find
there
it.
it is. That's okay. We like that. That's
That's
crazy.
really good.
It's in the chair. It's under the chair. In the okay. Yeah. Today I'm announcing that Noah Sampson on it was Wednesday night, was on the receiving end of a
demand for retraction.
Today's Wednesday.
Monday, I mean. I thought it was Monday today.
Retake.
Okay, let me start over. The
Rewind, sorry.
stage is set.
I thought the game was afoot or whatever.
The game is afoot.
Yeah.
But we get a mulligan.
Okay.
The game is set. Me and Mutahar together teamed up, and we sent a demand for retraction to Noah Samson Monday night after the show.
To Mutahar.
In this letter, which I will read after the break, we highlight the defamatory statements and explain in great detail why they're defamatory. All he has to do to avoid getting sued is apologize for everything he said and did, admit he was either lying or ignorant, and erase the video, and also just disgrace, and just accept the disgrace that is basically lying about two people being pro-genocide, which is one of the most twisted, fucked up things you can accuse someone of. And so, the ball is now in your court, sir. You have 20 days from the moment you received it to respond. Otherwise, this piece is being moved to the next piece on the board. And what?
The piece would be moved to a different space, not to another piece.
The piece would be moving to another space on the board. We'll be advancing the battle plans.
I want to play a game.
Now Noah, you want to play a game? Yo, it's funny. You guys, I said I wasn't playing around when the CPS thing came. I said I'm not playing. Whatever you thought was going to happen, however you thought this was going to go, it's no longer going like that.
What happened should have happened.
And
what
Noah,
happened.
You are the first of many, several, to be feeling what it means for me to be totally unhinged. Although legally and morally correct as well. That's the part that's going to be a really hard time for you, bud. So Noah's going to have to prove on paper, legally, to a judge and potentially a jury, why and how we support genocide, which it will.
Bro, like I don't think that's what Ethan wants to have happen. Like obviously Ethan just wants Noah to take down his video, and he wants to be like, oh, I got Noah to take down his video, yes. And it fuck his wife or something, feeling like he accomplished something in that day. But like, bro, can you imagine in court? Like, this is literally straight out of a fucking drama movie where it's like, okay, this is how Ethan supports it. Like, bro, it would be so fucking funny if this goes to court and Ethan is legally found that he supports genocide. That would be hilarious. Like, Ethan's in the court, he's the plaintiff. Noah like gets up there, he has like his pointer, and he's got this whole fucking like a presentation set up, like almost like the Dennis system. It's like genocide system, or like the Ethan Klein system, enabling genocide, terrorist supporter in terms of the IDF. It just goes down the list, and then like the jury votes, and it's like, oh, Ethan does support a genocide. What did he say instead of unleashed?
What it means for me to be totally unhinged. Although legally and morally correct as well. That's the part that's going to be a really hard time for you, bud. So Noah's going to have to prove on paper, legally, to a judge and potentially a jury, why and how we support genocide, which it will not be possible to do, because all the innuendo and all the bullshit and all the fucking lying that they do, him, Hassan, fucking George, that dude that lives in a cockroach-infested corner of Argentina, he's a mama's boy that fucking hides in a dark corner of Argentina, thinks he's untouchable. Guess what, George? You're not untouchable either. And when I'm done with these fuckers, I'm putting my full attention on you, bitch. Okay?
Okay, so he's going after Noah Samson, he's going after Hassan, he's going after Bad Empanada. Those are the guys he labeled. Also, man, like, really fucking kind of like casual racism thrown in from Ethan, because the guy's in Argentina, it's automatically cockroach infested. Like, obviously Ethan thinks America is like the first world, and if you're not in America or Israel, you're like, or I guess in the West, then you're living in like a shitty place. So the same reason why he's like, I think Mr. Beast should buy TikTok and not China not China has control of it. Like, yeah, if you're living in Argentina, you're in a cockroach infested hellhole.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all went too far. When I'm done with Noah, when I'm done with the other one, the big one that's dropping probably next week, my full attention is going to you, George, like the Eye of Sauron. I see you out there, you fucking cockroach. Yeah.
Ethan's literally comparing himself to the villain in like the most famous fantasy IP ever. The most famous fantasy series. He's like, I am the bad guy, and I'm going to be attacking you. Bro, they're like, this probably isn't the analogy you want to use.
And I know your whole thing. You act tough. You're like, oh, I do psyops, and I'll mail you shit, and I'll fucking, yeah, you're full of shit, bro. You're not gonna do shit, and I'll tell you who's gonna do shit. Me. I'm coming. Okay, so you're not safe either. Just wait. Keep talking that shit. And we'll find out. We're gonna read the letter together. And Mutahar is gonna also call in here at 1. So Mutahar, as I like to call him. Yeah, I mean, if I was Noah and I read this letter, I would be shitting my pants. This is no joke. This letter is extraordinarily well reasoned. It's extraordinary.
Well, we know Ethan's like into shit, so I don't think he needs to get a cease and desist letter to shit his pants.
Extraordinarily well sourced, and it is not hyperbolic at all, in fact. So Noah said in his second video, Ethan's threatening to sue me. Have fun with that, I guess. He said, well, I'm about to have fun with it, and unfortunately, I don't think you're going to be having much fun with it. Okay. Not so fun. Oh, he went private? Oh, he went private on Instagram? Why? He can't stand any of this heat? Noah went private on Insta? The guy who went on his YouTube channel and brazenly said that I'm pro-genocide can't handle a few comments on Instagram? What's going on here, Noah? What is going on here, dude? Oh, man. Yeah, he's scared shitless. He is. And, I'll say this, despite all this sweeping that the entire left community has done for Noah, after we spoke to his ex-lover, not his ex-girlfriend, but his ex-hookup partner, Noah at least is the only one who hasn't said anything about it and who hasn't tried to make excuses or sweep. So, I mean, but it's incredible seeing the left show their ass so hard, how everybody's just all of a sudden like, oh, so much. You'll go on the left, Haas Twitter, whatever the fuck, and this is what they're saying. Wow, Ethan, congratulations. You proved that Noah is a dude who has normal sexual relations. I'm like, okay, let's remember you said that. Haas Twitter. Let's just, I mean, y'all, I barely even have to do anything to expose you guys. But now you're on a ride. Now we're on this ride together. Right? Like we're all gonna ride together now. This is Willy Wonka's boat ride, motherfuckers. Okay. And I'm doing.
It's a game, a ride, and a play.
It's everything and more.
Okay. Just trying to keep up.
I'm gonna have Dan like tiptoes, like on his fucking knees, doing the rowing in the back.
Me?
Yeah. Willy Wonka's boat ride. You're in the back on your knees.
I see where you're going.
Yeah. Shoes on your knees.
Got it.
In the role of a lifetime. All right. So. This is all very fun stuff here, guys. We're going to thank our sponsor, and then I'm just going to read this whole letter. And you guys can see and enjoy just how screwed our dear, wonderful, brave friend.
Oh my god, just get to the fucking letter. Oh, I gotta do an ad before I get to my letter. Holy shit. It's like a 5-minute long ad. He press the button. Why?
We had some chill episodes. It's nice.
And this is what we get, a full episode. It doesn't matter.
I mean, it's a compromise.
Yeah, no, it's a compromise.
I mean, is it better to put it all in one episode?
No.
Attorney, he's dudes.
Get to the letter. Get to the letter.
I shall say. Yeah, we must have seen it. Like, email address, and we all.
Bro, I also think it's fucking hilarious how Ethan continuously compares himself to Kendrick in like the Kendrick versus Drake beef. And yet he's the one writing cease and desist letters to people that like make videos about him, or like if we're talking about in the context of Drake versus Kendrick, like write a song about him. It's like you produced your song too hard. In terms of Kendrick's or like Drake's letter was to the record company saying that they like promoted the song too much, and now Ethan's like, I'm gonna write a letter about Noah Sampson saying that he was mean to me. Okay.
So FedExed it to his home address, which I'm sure he must have seen it. Like, I don't know. As a YouTuber, like, I think he must check that email address. And if not, he's gonna get a knock at the door with some FedEx, baby. Let me position this so you guys can read it. Let's see.
What the fuck, dude?
What happened? Oh,
no, I just looked at the screen and saw me doing a goofy face.
Like I said,
maybe
it's
you could turn that off.
No, don't ever turn it off, Dan. That's the thing. That's what makes it funny. When there's like an inevitably a chestnuts moment, like nobody can be blamed for it. It just is going to happen. It's going to be natural, and we can all enjoy it guilt free. That's the beauty. Yeah. It might be it could be any one of us.
I hope that moment never comes.
Oh, it will. Lamb.
Thank you.
Demand for correction pursuant to California Civil Code, Section 48A. Dear Mr. Sampson.
All right, so before we get into this, let's just check out what the Civil Code is. So California Civil Code 48A. When did this Noah Samson video come out? Noah Samson. Noah Samson. He doesn't even have the mustache anymore. Like, now he has the goatee. The YouTubers who backed a genocide was 3 weeks ago. What?
If you like my videos and want to help.
And Ethan said this was released on, so this was March 11th. And Ethan says that it was released, that his thing was, the letter was sent on the 20th. Like, the notice and demand must be served within 20 days after knowledge of the publication or broadcast of the statements claimed to be libelous. So that's right on the edge. I don't even know if that was within 20 days. It seems like it might have been like 21 days, or because when did Ethan say that he made the statement? Let's just assume that it was that he got it in on time. Although it would be hilarious if it was like 21 days afterwards. I mean, he's talking about it now, but I think he made the claim that it was given on Monday, which would have been the 31st. Okay, so what is this? In any action for damages for the publication of a libel in a daily or weekly news publication or of a slander by radio broadcast, plaintiff shall only recover special damages unless a correction is demanded and is not published or broadcast as provided in this section. Plaintiff shall serve upon the publisher at the place of publication or broadcaster at the place of broadcast a written notice specifying the statements claimed to be libelous and demanding that those statements be corrected. The notice and demand must be served within 20 days of the publication or broadcast of the statements claimed to be libelous. If a correction is demanded within 20 days and is not published or broadcast in substantially as conspicuous a manner in the same daily or weekly news publication or in the same broadcasting station as were the statements claimed to be libelous, in a regular issue thereof published or broadcast within 3 weeks after service, plaintiff, if he or she pleads and proves notice, demand, and failure to correct, and if his or her cause of action is maintained, may recover general, special, and exemplary damages. So basically, like, Noah has to not only retract the video, but issue a correction, which I think would be funny. It's like, okay, he doesn't support genocide, he just supports an ethnocide. Like, is that really what you want Noah to do? Like, Noah could just do that, and this whole thing would be completely moot. It would completely fall apart. An actual malice shall not be inferred or presumed from the publication or broadcast. A correction published or broadcast and substantially... Okay, so what is this? What are the damages? As used in this section, general damages means damages for loss of reputation, shame, mortification, and hurt feelings. Special damages means all damages the plaintiff alleges and proves that he or she have suffered in respect to his or her property, business, trade, profession, or occupation, including the amounts of money the plaintiff alleges and proves he or she has expended as a result of the alleged libel and no other. So, I mean, I'd love to see what Ethan is going to say were the damages that he received because of this.
We are counsel for Mutahar and Ethan, our collective clients. If you have counsel, please forward this letter to them and have them contact me about this matter. We are writing you pursuant to California Civil Code, Section 48A, demanding you make a retraction correction in compliance with the statute. Your March 11th, 2025 video entitled The YouTubers Who Backed the Genocide.
Okay, so this was exactly 20 days. Just once again, cutting it a little close though, right?
The first defamatory video. The defamatory videos contain numerous defamatory statements against our clients, which are set forth below. Now, this part just explains the legal definition of defamation, which I don't need to read. This one describes what genocide is. This just kind of...
You're including a definition of genocide due to the Webster's dictionary? What the fuck? Where's the description
part just explains
of genocide?
The legal definition of defamation, which I don't need to read.
Screenshot is provided below. The first defamatory statement falsely asserts that our clients support genocide in Gaza. The verb to back means to support by material or moral assistance. The term genocide is a crime defined as any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group, such as... Okay, so it looks like this is the UN definition of genocide. Yeah, it looks like this is like the UN definition, which is what most people use the definition of. Don't know why Ethan doesn't actually like read this out. I think that you can easily make the case that Ethan is materially supporting this genocide. I mean, first of all, Ethan has made this point before. He's like, if you guys are mad that Gila joined the IDF, then why don't you just stop paying taxes? Why don't you stop paying taxes? You're supporting a genocide by paying taxes. You could go to prison and stop paying taxes then. Because, like, if you're so worried about this genocide, so first of all, like, you can make the claim there. And then also, like, he has made statements that are materially supporting the genocide. When you continuously refer to this as a war and say that Israel is just, like, trying to get rid of Hamas, and then because Hamas is holding on to these hostages, Israel, like, has to continue doing this war, that is materially supporting this genocide. You are misrepresenting the genocide. I mean, he literally misrepresented the genocide in terms of the number of people that are being killed. How is that not a material assistance to the removal of Palestinians? You are spreading fake information about the number of people that have been killed in this. Like, I really don't think they have any standing. Like, if they are actually willing to argue on the minutia details of if Ethan actually supports a genocide at all, that's an uphill climb for them. I'll just say that.
This one describes what genocide is. It's just kind of setting the stage, the board, if you will.
Yeah, Maggie, you're right. They're most worried about defaming companies versus people. Yeah, and you're right, like, lawyers can sue anyone, and it's really just going to be like, obviously Noah's not going to want to go to court because that's a huge pain, even though I think, like, he could win, and that would be an insane spectacle to watch. But the other thing is, like, I know Ethan's unhinged, but is he really going to want to go to court to argue that he doesn't support a genocide? Like, I'm not surprised that he sent this letter to Noah saying, I'm threatening to sue you if you don't take down this video. But, like, does he actually want to go to court? That's what I'm wondering. So is Ethan not going to read this video? Reading the whole demand for correction. You're not reading it, you're just summarizing it.
So I think we can start here. So the first thing is we talk about what he said about Mutahar. Whether our clients supported by material...
Why don't you read the definition of genocide? Why don't you read this first thing?
What genocide is...
Okay, so let's just read this. The first defamatory statement falsely asserts that our clients support genocide in Gaza. The verb to back means to support by material or moral assistance. The term genocide is a crime defined as... Okay. Any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group as such. I mean, they say the term genocide is a crime defined as this. The word crime is interesting there because it is, like, being tried by the International Criminal Court, but the United States doesn't deem what Israel's doing as a crime. So that's, like, a bit of, like, an interesting word that they throw in there, even though in the definition they're using, it doesn't say anything about a crime. So let's just take a look at this. Any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group as such, killing members of the group, causing serious bodily harm or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. So yes, this is, like, a pretty standard definition of genocide, so I'm glad that they, like, use that, and you can't really just say, oh, well, the population of Gazans are increasing, so how is it a genocide? Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, Article 2. Okay.
It's just kind of setting the stage, the board, if you will.
So it's kind of interesting Ethan doesn't read that out, but whatever.
So I think we can start here. So the first thing is we talk about what he said about Mutahar. Whether our clients supported by material or moral assistance or otherwise genocidal acts by Israel with the intent to destroy in whole or in part the Palestinians is subject to being proven true or false. The surrounding context further emphasizes the first defamatory statement is an actual assertion of fact. Throughout the first defamatory video, your language is factually specific, earnest, and serious in tone. This is emphasized by holding yourself out as having, quote,
Like, guys, I'm sorry, but I feel like, I also feel like there's not really any standing in terms of suing based off of the title of the video, which I think it's going to be interesting. Like, are they specifically talking about the title, or are they talking about the content of Noah's video? Because if it's about the content, I'd like specific clips, and then they've probably done that before.
Specialized knowledge or expertise in the Israel-Palestine conflict due to the large volume of material you cite in the first defamatory video, much of which you misrepresent.
Much of which you misrepresent. Okay, you're just gonna throw that in there.
Said that? Yeah, he said he has specialized knowledge, even though every time it comes up, he just is like, watch Bad Empanada.
What?
That's
never
crazy.
Said he did. Wait, you're not even reading your article correct. You're not even reading your letter correctly. They're saying, like, does he say he has specialized knowledge? Okay, I'm just gonna look this up really quick. Noah Samson. Googled his name about 5 times today. The YouTubers who backed genocide. I mean,
If you like my videos and want to help me make more of them,
he did clean up on this video. The video that got me sued for saying that some people that support genocide. Okay, well, I searched specialized and there's nothing showing up there. Maybe I'll search knowledge. Okay, so knowledge. Let's see what shows up. Israeli officials themselves had acknowledged, so that's acknowledged. To the multiple nuclear weapons, Israel has done this with full knowledge. To that multiple nuclear, they did it with. Okay, so he never said the word specialized knowledge. I don't know why they're quoting that. Why are they quoting that? Why is Ethan acting like he's like, oh, Noah said he has specialized knowledge? Like, what is this? Throughout the first defamatory video, your language is factually specific, earnest, and serious in tone. This is emphasized by holding yourself out as having... Holding yourself out? What does that mean? Holding yourself out as having specialized knowledge or expertise in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Due to the... Why is specialized knowledge in quotes? He literally never said that. Due to the large volume of materials you cite in the first defamatory video, much of which, like, is this just me, or does this seem extremely unprofessional? Back to genocide is good. It isn't saying they did it. It says their actions is supporting a genocide. You can do that directly or indirectly. Atri can get sued for defamation by the private figure he doxed really easily. Well, he can get sued for defamation by Noah Samson. I mean, he literally said that Noah Samson called for violence against him and against public figures. And Noah Samson literally never did that. And Ethan's like, no, he quite literally, word for word, said that he wants people to kill me. Okay, but is it just me, or does this seem extremely unprofessional the way this is written? Much of which you misrepresent? Why would you throw that in there? Why, like, if you're going... Why would you throw that in as like an afterthought and kind of like a jab at the person that you're sending a cease and desist letter to? Like, this is... Who's the lawyer? That's a good question. I kind of want to just find this. Can I just find this by myself? Okay. Sports Kita. Do we have the actual letter? Pour moi. Nope. Okay, I guess we don't have the actual letter, so I'll just rewind in the video to try to find it. The lawyer is... Is the lawyer's name? Kia Bar Nissim? Is that his name? Kia Bar Nissim? Is that like the law firm he uses? Kia Bar Nissim LLP, Business, Media, and IP Law Services. So I guess this is Ethan's lawyer, or his law firm. The partner to your boldest dreams and ambitions. Where there's a vision, there's a way. To Kia Bar Nissim, Creativity is not solely defined by one's artistic capability, but by your approach to solving challenges. Your creativity should be boundless towards achieving your business goals, which is why we approach every challenge with solutions first. All right, let's read about their firm. This is two people. Okay, so she's a partner. So it's just is it a married couple? Oh, it's Tiffany Hia and Ram Bar Nassim. So I guess it's like both of them. Setting the bar for creative and collaborative counsel. Yeah, we're gonna collaborate with you so much. Smart encompassing solutions. We combine litigation, transactional, and counseling services to deliver dynamic, holistic outcomes. We pride ourselves on getting to know your vision and becoming a supporting thought leader for your business strategy. It's how we bring the most value. So it's kind of interesting. It seems like they're actually like working with Ethan Klein and his YouTube channel. Like the way they're describing it, it's like, no, we help with like the holistic vision of your business. It's kind of interesting there. Like obviously Ethan's a very litigious person, and like these are probably the guys that he's stuck with for a long portion of his career. He's Israeli, so he's emotionally involved. I mean, I don't even want to say that, because like we can refute this based off of just what's in our face, like what has been written down. We don't need to get the background of the lawyer. Okay, but I just okay. So
defamatory videos contain numerous, if you will. So the first thing is we talk about.
Okay, but once again, this seems unprofessional. Like they're throwing in this jab, right? Like right here, much of which you misrepresent. Why would you throw that in and then you're not going to back that up at all? And then quoting something that's literally never been said in the video. Like, let me see if I can. I can't like move my. I don't know why I can't move my camera. Oh, it's because I had it locked. So yeah, it's like this is emphasized. So saying that you're factually specific, earnest, and serious in tone. Throughout the first defamatory video, your language is factually specific, earnest, and serious in tone. Once again, like punctuation error here, factually specific, earnest, no comma after the earnest, and serious in tone. This is the reason I'm pointing this out, is because this seems extremely unprofessional. This is emphasized by holding yourself out as having, what, like, have you ever heard someone say you are holding yourself out as having knowledge on this subject? Like, what does that even mean? You hold yourself out? Maybe like holding yourself up might be a thing. Or like, yes, you're holding yourself up to your critics or something like that. This is, so the seriousness in tone is emphasized by holding yourself out as having specialized knowledge in quotes for no reason. This, once again, like Noah's point here isn't that he has some kind of specialized insider knowledge about this. It's that he can just see what's been posted onto social media, or expertise in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Like, no, he never claimed he has expertise in this. They have a gaggle of underpaid paralegals and fellows. It's ChatGPT. I wouldn't be surprised if this is in part ChatGPT. I mean, this is insane. Saying that you have specialized knowledge or expertise because you cited a large volume of materials? Since when does citing your work imply you have an expertise in something or specialized knowledge in something? This is like anti-intellectual shit. You're like, oh, look at you, Mr. Big Words. You used a lot of sources in your video. You think you're some kind of expert about this? Let me quote you as having said you have specialized knowledge. What are you talking about? He's literally just posting shit that's like gone viral. All of these clips that Noah used have gone viral in the past because of the horror that they were portraying. And then obviously this like extremely weird and unprofessional thing, much of which you misrepresent. So are you saying he has expertise in this and has specialized knowledge? Or are you saying he's just a dumbass misrepresenting viral videos? It goes on. Critically, you either fail to disclose the factual basis for the first defamatory statement, or you misrepresent the factual basis in the first defamatory video as detailed below. You either fail to disclose the factual basis, or you misrepresent the factual basis. Okay, I'm going to need details for that because those two things are like mutually exclusive, and it seems like if he had a factual basis, then that would mean he did not that would mean that he did not fail to disclose the factual basis, right? Like, that's like you either made a video without facts or you made a video with facts that you misrepresented. These are completely different things.
About what he said.
Like this, look, this little sentence here isn't saying you either knowingly lied about this or you were negligent in your work. This is saying you either had a factual basis or you didn't. It's like, this should be self-evident. You should be able to watch the video and determine if he had a factual basis that he misrepresented or if he just didn't have a factual basis at all. Like, this should be self-evident from watching the video. Okay, so as detailed below, let's check this out.
About Mutahar. Whether our clients supported, by material or moral assistance or otherwise, genocidal acts by Israel with the intent to destroy in whole or in part the Palestinians is subject to being proven true or false. The surrounding context further emphasizes the first defamatory statement is an actual assertion of fact. Throughout the first defamatory video, your language is factually specific, earnest, and serious in tone. This is emphasized by holding yourself out as having, quote, specialized knowledge or expertise in the Israel-Palestine conflict due to the large volume of material you cite in the first defamatory video, much of which you misrepresent. He said that. Yeah, he said he has specialized knowledge, even though every time it comes up, he just is like, watch bad empanada.
He didn't say
That's crazy,
that.
dude.
He literally didn't say that. Like, bro, Ethan's so fucking stupid. You can just search the transcript of the video. He never said he has specialized knowledge.
Critically, you either fail to disclose the factual basis for the first defamatory statement or you misrepresent the actual basis. For Mutahar, the first defamatory video only shows two very brief clips from Mutah's October 21st video entitled, "Twitch is a disgustingly evil platform." See, and then it just references for the, it's a footnote. Not only did you fail to disclose the source of these clips, it is evident that you intentionally misrepresented it. In Mutah's video, he explicitly states, quote, "Like I've said before, and I've been clipped a few times, and you know even when I stream, you know videos do get uploaded."
Okay, so he says, like I've said before, and I've been clipped a few times, and you know, even when I stream, you know, videos do get uploaded of my takes on situations that I feel like I need to clarify. I'm not somebody that is afraid to say that genocide is wrong. I think there was an actual case of, you know, genocide, and there's an actual attack of, and there's an actual case of attack that goes towards the Palestinian people. Not only did you fail to disclose the source of these clips, it is evident that you intentionally misrepresented it. So Noah clipped out some sections of Mutahar's video. And in the video, he says that there's like an actual case of attack that goes towards the Palestinian people.
Of my takes on situations that I feel I need to clarify. I am not somebody that is afraid to say that genocide is wrong. I think there's an actual case of, you know, genocide, and there's an actual case of attack that goes towards the Palestinian people. Further, later in that video, and further in relation to the Twitch IP ban of Israel and Palestine, Mutahar states, honestly, if you really think about it, this rule actually hurts Gazans more than it ever would hurt Israelis, because Twitch's geo-block, if it targeted that region, you know, if they wanted to allow people to document and live stream the real atrocities that are occurring to them in that region, the Palestinians could have used that platform to showcase it themselves. Mutahar also states, or he says, Noah, you intentionally omitted portions of Mutah's video that demonstrate he does not support the take of Asmongold on Palestinians. Immediately before the clip you used in the defamation video, Mutah stated. So obviously...
Are they going to talk about the clips that Noah used of Mutahar? I mean, they're saying that he misrepresented Mutahar, and they're like, oh, look, Mutahar says that, like, I'm not afraid to say that there is a case of genocide against Palestinians. Okay, but what are the clips Noah used? Like, talk about how Noah made the claim Mutahar is pro-genocide. Like, you can't just say that, oh, well, once, like, Ethan said he's against genocide, so obviously how can you're misrepresenting him that he is in favor of genocide. You can't just say that. You have to address the evidence that Noah used to make the case that these guys are in favor of genocide, or like at least backing it.
Asmongold walked back his statement back and apologized. He said, "My bad." And of course, nobody deserves to have their life destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find regressive. So in this situation, one could...
What is this?
Stated. So obviously, Asmongold walked back his statement.
So obviously, Asmongold walked back his statement, walked back, and apologized. Said, "My bad. Of course, no one deserves to have their life destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find regressive." That's not really walking back your statement, bro. Asmongold's statement was that Palestinians have an inferior culture. Like, that's what his statement was. And then he's like, they do things and have views I find regressive, basically agreeing with his initial statement that Palestinians are inferior. Yeah, that's not walking. Oh my God, what is this proving? Like, can you list the claims that Noah had and say that how those were misrepresentative? Like, are they going to list the claims that Noah did, or are we going to have to look it up in the video?
Back and apologize. He said, "My bad."
Like, these don't even make Mutahar look good. These are like, oh yeah, Asmongold walked back his claims that Palestinians should be genocided, but he still says that they're inferior, that they have an inferior culture. And then he's like, yeah, I think there's like a case that Palestinians could be going under genocide. And then what was this middle statement? Honestly, if you really think about it, this rule actually hurts Gazans more than it ever would have hurt Israelis, because Twitch's geoblock, if it targeted that region, you know, if you wanted to allow people to document and live stream the real atrocities that are occurring to them in that region, you know, Palestinians could have used a platform to showcase themselves. What? Israel shut off internet. They didn't have internet, bro. Like, what is this trying to prove? He's like, Palestinians could use Twitch to live stream the genocide, and that is supposed to show that Mutahar is, like, not in favor of the genocide? I don't understand what this is trying to prove. He's just saying that Gazans could live stream the real atrocities that are occurring to them in that region. I mean, once again, this could go either way. This could be him saying that, oh yeah, the real atrocities that are occurring to them in that region. What does that mean? You don't believe that you don't believe the atrocities reported by the news that are happening to them? You don't think that they're being reported on enough? I mean, once again, it's not an issue of they don't have a platform to talk about these things. It's an issue of their journalists are getting assassinated by Israel. Yeah, and it sounds like mocking too. Oh, if only Twitch allowed Palestinians to live stream the atrocities happening to them, then they could, do better in the genocide? It is fucking demeaning too. So what? So far this letter is Mutahar saying dumb shit, and they're like, okay, Mutahar said dumb shit, and you say he supports a genocide, but you're misrepresenting him because he's actually saying dumb things.
And of course, nobody deserves to have their life destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find...
Yes, please defend Asmongold, Ethan.
...find regressive. So in this situation, one could, you know, if they were being charitable, could say that Asmongold was probably referring to the extremists in the Islamic religion and their view on people in the LGBT.
Holy fuck, bro. Okay, we need to find this clip. Asmongold, Palestine, ban. Twitch streamer Asmongold suspended after Palestinian rant. Okay, why do they not have the clip? Why do they not have the clip? Why? Come on. Why do these fucking articles write shit and then they don't actually have the clip of the person saying this? Right. Come on, Reddit. Does it exist anywhere? His name is Zach Hoyt. Ew. Oh my god, bro, it's so impossible to find shit online. I mean, maybe he's like scrubbed the internet of it. Okay, maybe this is it. Is this it? Is this just... Do I have to click on this link? Okay, I'm gonna do it off screen. I don't know what the hell this is. He says, okay, I don't have the clip, but this is what he says. If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. And what did Mutahar say? Mutahar said, you know, if they were to extend the charitability, what the fuck is it? Like, this is grammatically incorrect, and this quote is so chopped up. What? Lastly, Muto's initial reaction to Asmongold's take on Palestinians is easy to find on YouTube. Muto's reaction. Okay, like, we just need to, like, go to the source for this. Muto's reaction to Asmongold ban. Let's just look that up. Muta reaction Asmongold ban. Oh shit, I searched bad. Is this it?
The Some Ordinary Gamers drama is crazy. Did I get into trouble? No! Did I get into trouble? Guys, what happened? What happened with Asmongold? Let me check. Live stream fail, Reddit. What happened with the Asmongold? Let me hear this. Hassan's thoughts. Oh, no, dude. Oh, I can tell this is going to be pretty bad. Oh, shit. Asmongold's thoughts on Palestinians. All right, so I feel like this is either going to be a nothing burger or it's going to be so bad that it's gonna get me a strike on YouTube. So I guess I guess it's time to go down here. I guess. Shit, let's listen to this one. Whew. What? Oh, god damn, dude! What the fuck? You can't access shit anymore. Oh, here it is. Clip mirror. Cool. All right, let's watch this one right now. Okay. Oof. All right. Okay.
Oh, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. It's not even a question. It's crazy that people don't see it that way. They'd be doing the same thing.
They'd be doing the same thing. I'm not going to cry a fucking river when
How much did they kill? As many as they can. They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing. That's it. Just takes enough. That's right. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's so funny. He's like, oh yeah, genocide is against everything Western culture stands for, while defending a genocide. Like, you can't get more cognitively dissonant than that. You're literally like, I want to genocide these people because they like genociding, and that's against everything I stand for. Okay. And his reaction is to laugh. Okay, come on, Muta. Let's go. Show us how much you care for the Palestinian people. I mean, apparently in one of your videos you said there could be a case that Palestinians are being genocided. Like, on that specific issue, Asmongold is more woke than you are. Asmongold admits they're getting genocided. You don't.
Directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways.
Ooh, god damn. Bro, what the fuck? Holy shit. Dude, he went...
Guys, Mutahar does not support genocide, okay? He does not support it. If you say he does, you're gonna get sued.
Man, he's fucking... Ooh, god damn. I don't know where the full clip is. I guess it's
That is the
well,
full
I don't,
clip.
what the fuck is the? Did he? So who did he say? Did he say the Palestinians were inferior cultures or something? I mean, like at the end of the day, I don't think anybody should sit there and fucking be like, oh, I guess a whole group of people deserve to be genocided. Like at the
Hey, thanks for the gifted memberships. Thank you so much, HK. You're awesome. Guys, say thank you to HK in the chat.
end of the day, that doesn't make you any better. You know what I mean? It just doesn't really.
Wait, what is he saying?
Did he? So who did he say? Did he say the Palestinians were inferior cultures or something?
Yes.
I mean, like at the end of the day, I don't think anybody should sit there and fucking be like, oh, I guess a whole group of people deserve to be genocided. Like at the end of the day, that doesn't make you any better. You know what I mean? It just doesn't really make you any better than the
Wow. Okay, Noah Samson deserves to get sued because Mutahar said, at the end of the day, I don't think anyone should sit there and be like, we should genocide people. Wow. Everyone, give it up. Give it up to Mutahar. Give it up to HK and Mutahar, both legends of the YouTube game, both taking a moral stance against genocide.
than the shitty party out there. But I assume he's probably referring, if I'm being very charitable, to like gay people who like ally with that. It's like okay, there's got to be a longer clip than this, dude. Like I feel like there's at least like a fucking 30 seconds from the beginning that I'm missing here that I just have no idea about it. That is insane. Why would he say that? I don't understand. Why would he prompt it? What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Pretty much. I don't even want to dive deeper into this shit because I honestly have no idea about this situation. I've read about it. I'm not an idiot. I know about like the whole Israel-Palestine stuff. I'm gonna straight up say it. I'm not gonna jump into it because I'm not an expert. The only thing that I can really say about it is like at the end of the day, I really hope that both countries fucking end up finding a peaceful solution one day, and innocent men, women, and children do not die. Okay, and I really hope that there are governmental agencies, and I really hope that at some point there can be some fucking there can be some peace. That's about it. That's all I can really say. I don't fucking have any understanding about the situation, and I don't know. I really hope the best for every situation. I don't know. Yeah, look, I've been like I've talked to Asmongold. All right, like fucking not a lot, but you know he's been on.
Okay, so this reaction video consists of Mutahar saying, oh, wow, isn't that edgy? I mean, I'm sure there's more context for Asmongold saying Palestinians are an inferior culture. If I wanted to be charitable to him, or then he's like, well, at the end of the day, like, if I wanted to be charitable to him, he's probably just talking about the extremists. So it immediately consists of Mutahar laughing at Asmongold saying, like, genocidal shit while there's a genocide going on, then downplaying the genocidal shit that Asmongold did, then saying, I don't know, guys, both sides seem pretty equal, I just, like, don't know anything about this. So it's like, you're downplaying the genocide that's going on, you're downplaying the genocidal rhetoric from, like, a major streamer that was said, and then you're, like, backing away from the situation. How is that not doing exactly what Noah Samson said you're doing, which is, like, running defense for this genocide, making your audience think that there's both sides to this, that it's like a both sides issue, both sides have valid points, both sides are even in this, both sides have agency, and there's innocent men and women and children being killed on both sides of the issue. So yes, on October 7th, 1,200 Israelis died. Since then, there's been like 4 of them have committed suicide. Yeah, more than 5, but I think like 200 Israeli soldiers have died, while like hundreds of thousands of Palestinians have died. But no, I don't know. Like, I'm not an idiot about this. I've read about it, but you know, I'm just saying I don't want innocents to die on either side.
On the podcast when we had it running, and he watches my stuff, and occasionally I will like sometimes put his stuff on. Obviously not super recently. I don't know why he even had to jump in to say it. I remember. Didn't he say something like, why would somebody even jump in and fucking talk about this stuff if they didn't have any expertise? Wild shit.
I love that. And this is probably why the lawyer's like, Noah made the claim he had expertise on this. It's like, no, he didn't. Guys, you do not need expertise to speak out about a genocide. End of discussion, end of sentence, end of paragraph. Like, there is no reason you can't speak out about hundreds of thousands of people being killed and starved and bombed and displaced from their homes without a PhD. Anyone can talk about it, and people that are saying, oh, I think it's complicated, are using that as an excuse to not put themselves out there and like risk their careers, because there are pro-Israel extremist groups targeting people that are speaking out against Israel. So yeah, like it's simply a cowardly thing to do, to say, oh well, like, why are you talking about it? It's such a complicated thing. And like, to be fair to Ethan, he's not saying it's complicated. He's just being like, no, I like the ethno-state of Israel. Like, Ethan's just like planting his flag there. So in that regard, Ethan has more fucking balls than this like coward.
I'm seeing that he had a 3-hour debate with Hassan. Oh man, dude, I don't know if my brain could fucking handle this.
He's not an idiot,
God.
guys.
Fucking Hassan, bro. I don't know if my brain could handle that shit. God damn. That guy straight up.
What is like, is Mutahar, is his studio inside of the fucking red light room where they keep burgers and fries warm at McDonald's? What is this lighting? Why does it look like he's broadcasting from hell?
Let's fucking actual terrorists on a stream. Fuck me. God damn. I guess I might listen to this one clip. Oh no, that's not real, bro. That's not, dude. This title can't be real. Oh my god.
We're not like, oh, you're trans, we're gonna kill you.
I mean, this is clearly an attempt to farm Asmongold. To farm Asmongold's audience. He's like, oh wow, there must be more evidence to this, or you know, he's probably just referring to the extremists. And I'm not even gonna get involved in this. Like, you were trying to be as ineffectual as possible while also supporting Asmongold. Hearing information would make his head explode. You can watch a 2-second clip though.
That guy straight up lets fucking actual terrorists on his stream. Fuck me. God damn. I guess
Oh my god, like Lonerbox and Destiny literally went with that one fucking guy that was the IOF spokesperson who just defends terrorism all the time. He's like, Hassan had a Yemeni teenager on his stream. So dumb. It's so gross.
I guess I might listen to this one clip. Oh no, that's not real, bro. That's not, dude. This title can't be real. Oh my god.
We're not like, oh, you're trans, we're gonna kill you. They were like, oh, thank you for your fucking humanitarian aid. They don't give a shit. Like, it's the same as any other kind of person. I talked to a teenager from Yemen, okay, who everyone called, myself included, called Timothy Charlemagne or Chalamet.
Is that the One Piece one?
Yeah, exactly. Now this kid,
yeah, you know, the actual terrorist. Like, let's the actual terrorist, by the way. You know what I mean? Yeah, I talked to the terrorist on stream.
This kid is like, I think he was like 19 at the time when I talked to him.
Okay.
Which means
he's not a kid then, he's a fucking adult. So let's
Oh my god. He's a 19-year-old person. He's a man. Oh my god. Bro, I mean, it's so fucking gross. Like, obviously I don't need to explain why this is gross, but Mutahar is saying that this guy who grew up in Yemen who has a gun, so he must be a terrorist. That's just racism. Like, that's just racism. And I don't care what Mutahar says, but he, like, oh, you're saying I'm racist? I'm a Muslim. I'm a practicing Muslim, and you're saying I'm racist? Yeah, you are. You fucking live in Canada, and you deem anyone that has a gun that like supports resistance groups against the United States and Israel's imperial project as a terrorist. That's fucking racist. Like, that is just racist. And Ethan Klein has the same kind of racism.
Let's stop trying to like let's talk to this kid. He's not, no, it's an adult. It's more than a barely legal adult at that, but it's an adult.
He's a teenager, bro.
That for most of his life he has withstood genocide, right?
Sure.
Like, he is a person who's only
bro, Ethan, like, of course it's a double standard, guys. Of course it's a double standard. If they call Rashid al-Haddad a terrorist because he posed for some pictures on like a literal fucking tourist attraction, basically, like those ships were basically like photo ops for people. They were just sitting in the harbor, and anyone could go out to the ships that the Houthis captured. And he had a gun. Apparently, like, Yemen has the highest amount of gun ownership in the world behind the United States. Wow, he has a fucking gun. He's a terrorist now. And it's the same with Noah Samson. Ethan literally is like, Noah Samson is saying that people should go and murder me. It's like they're basically calling Noah Samson a terrorist too, or at least like encouraging stochastic terror, like he's a stochastic terrorist, encouraging people to do violence against Ethan Klein and other propagandists. Like, they literally just malign these people. But because they have the institutions on their sides, like the United States, who is cracking down on anti-Israeli speech, they can get away with it. They're completely comfortable on this shit. So it's a complete double standard. Yeah, like nothing's gonna really change as long as this Trump regime is deporting people that are speaking out against this.
Experience is like, it's literally like talking to fucking Anne Frank, basically.
Bro, you can't make that shit up. Bro, you can't, bro. Bro, you're not comparing the fucking terrorist to fuck. Okay, I'm out of here, dude.
Like, does he think that Jewish people in the Holocaust never violently resisted the Nazis? Like, that is a historical revisionism. There was a Warsaw Ghetto uprising where Jews did violently resist their Nazi oppressors. Would he say that you couldn't interview Jews? Would he say you can't support the Jews that are in the concentration camps because they were violent? Because the Jews were ethnically different and they were shifty and they had this like kind of a violent streak to them because maybe the Germans were targeting them and then maybe there was Jewish resistance and like a bomb exploded. Like, a big spark of anti-Jewish hatred in Nazi Germany was when a Jewish person like killed a soldier. And I think it was like in Paris or something, and he was Jewish, and so then the Jews were maligned as all being violent and like anti-Germany and anti-Europe because they did violence, right? Even though there were pogroms against Jews before, even though the person that killed him was like, I don't even remember. It was like some kind of like freedom fighter in France or something that also was probably framed for doing it. But that's a big reason. That's a big. It's not like a reason why the Nazis were discriminating against Jews, but it was a big excuse that the Nazis used to continue their persecution of Jewish people. Was the violence that the Jews did, was the fact that they had a different culture than the Germans did, that the Germans in Nazi Germany had. So this fucking guy is like, oh, he's a terrorist, and you're saying that he's like another genocide survivor just because he survived a genocide and was also a teenager? Bro, he's probably gonna be fucking dead in a year. Give me a fucking break. These people are so fucking sick. Anyway, so yeah, that's not really the clip that I think Ethan's lawyer wants to use to say that Mutahar is against genocide, because he seemed pretty fucking pro-genocide in that clip when he's like, oh, well, you're saying that a Yemeni teenager who survived a genocide is like Anne Frank? Wow, he's a terrorist. It's a complete double standard. Bro, this dude is absolutely brain dead. Yeah. I just wish Ethan released this document for people to look through.
Asmongold was probably referring to the extremists in the Islamic religion and their view on people in the LGBTQ camp.
He never said that, though. Did he say that? Mutahar never said that. In that video, he literally never said it. Lastly, Mutah's initial reaction to Asmongold's take on Palestinians is easy to find on YouTube. Mutah's reaction. Before Mutah even watches the clip, he states, "This is going to be bad." Immediately after watching the clip, Mutah expresses his shock at Asmongold's take and states, "I don't think anybody should just sit there and be like, I guess a whole group of people deserve to be They're going to say he expressed shock at Asmongold's take and not kicked his feet up and giggled and like was like leaned back in his chair and was kicking his feet, laughing to himself. Oh my God, Asmongold. Did not say that like, oh, well, I think that he's like, there must be more context explaining why Asmongold's so genocidal here. Bro, I mean, I've seen one fucking video of Mutahar, and it was that video, and that's enough, bro. Like that's not a good defense of Mutahar being against this genocide.
Lastly, Muta's initial reaction to Asmongold's take on Palestine is easy to find on YouTube. Before Muta even watches the clip, he states, "This is going to be bad." Immediately after watching the clip, Muta expresses his shock at Asmongold's take and states, quote, "I don't think anybody should sit here and be like, I guess a whole group of people deserve to be genocided." This is a clear and unequivocal condemnation of Asmongold's take. Due to your...
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. It's not because he said, like, bro, how... Wait. How can these lawyers simultaneously say Asmongold, like, how can they say Mutahar isn't against is against genocide because he actually says that Asmongold was referring to the extremists in the Islamic religion? Asmongold wasn't referring to all Palestinians. He was just referring to the extremists, while simultaneously saying, I don't think anybody should support like genocide, which is a refutation of Asmongold. How can you refute Asmongold if you're also supporting Asmongold, but just changing what Asmongold said? These are two completely different things. They're like mutually exclusive things. This lawyer's letter is simultaneously saying Mutahar is refuting what Asmongold's saying, but it's also saying Mutahar is supporting what Asmongold's saying, but Asmongold isn't. But it's just that Asmongold isn't supporting genocide. He's not referring to all Palestinians. He's just referring to Islamic extremists. You can't have them both. You can't have both of those. Guys, we just need to like watch this one more time. Like after reading these lawyers, after reading this lawyer statement.
The Some Ordinary Gamers drama is crazy. Did I get into trouble? No! Did I get into trouble? Guys, what happened? Did I get into like serious...
Dude, shut the fuck up.
Oh, here it is, clip mirror.
Cool. He's not as funny as he thinks.
It's crazy that people don't see it that way. They'd be doing the same thing.
So remember, the lawyer says, immediately after watching Asmongold, Mutahar expressed shock and said, I don't think anyone should get genocided.
And how much did they kill? As many as they can. They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing. That's it. Just takes enough. That's right. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western value.
It's like he's explaining American culture. He's literally just describing American culture. Horrible, anti-immigrant, kills people for their identity, pro-genocide, anti-protesting, and anti-freedom of speech. Like, bro, you're describing what America is underneath Donald Trump.
You stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways.
Expressed shock and said, wow, I completely condemn this. No one should get genocide. He's like, ooh, wow, that was some spicy stuff.
And it is an inferior culture in all ways.
Ooh, god damn. Bro, what the fuck? Holy shit. Dude, he went in. He's fucking... Ooh, goddamn.
He went in.
I don't know where the full clip is.
Immediately looks to, like, defend Asmongold. Oh, this looks really bad. Let's find the full clip to get, like, more context so I can better defend this.
I guess it's, So, I don't know, what the fuck is the... So, who did he say? Did he say the Palestinians were inferior cultures or something? I mean, like, at the end of the day, I don't think anybody should sit there and fucking be like, oh, I guess a whole group of people deserve to be...
Where... Can you explain to me where he expressed shock? Because none of that seemed like shock from Mutahar. That seemed like excitement and enjoyment.
Genocided. Like, at the end of the day, that doesn't make you any better. You know what I mean? It just doesn't really make you any better than the the shitty party out there. But I assume he's probably referring, if I'm being very charitable, to like gay people who like ally with that. It's like, okay, there's got to be a longer clip than this, dude. Like,
What the fuck? He just says, I'm assuming he's probably referring to gay people that like ally with that. And in here he says, you know, if they were to extend charitability, could say that Asmongold was probably referring to the extreme. This must have been from a different video, right? This must be from a different video. Because nothing about this is any similar. Like, it has no similarity. So Muta's video at 309 to 334. Is this a video? Is this a video they're talking about? Some ordinary gamers. Okay, wait, here. Wait. They're talking about. Okay, yeah, so this is from a different video, I think. Moreover, if you intentionally omitted portions of Muta's video that demonstrates he does not support the take of Zach Hoyt, Asmongold on Palestinians, immediately before the clip you used in the defamation video, Muta said, but obviously Asmongold walked back. Okay, what was the defamation video? Twitch is a disturbingly evil platform. Is that what it is? Okay, let's check this out. Alright guys, we're doing our investigative journalism today. Disturbingly evil platform. Muta. Which is a disturbingly... Okay, here we go. Oh shit, this has 1 million views.
Hello guys and gals.
Oh my god, it's 40 minutes long. Okay, so it says it's at 901 to 917.
Counter you in about 5 minutes. Honestly, if you really think about it, this rule actually hurt Gazans more than it ever would have hurt Israelis, because as geo-block, if it targeted that region, you know, if you wanted to allow people to document and live stream the real atrocities that are occurring to them in that region, you know, Palestinians could have used a platform to showcase themselves. In reality, it shows how...
Okay, that doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about. Okay, available at... I think we're looking at like 3 minutes. 3 minutes in.
To have their life destroyed, even if they do. Here I come down to, it's either that or playing video games. I'm not a global expert on anything, which is why I really don't talk about these situations. So obviously Asmongold walked it back, apologized, and said, my bad. Of course, no one deserves to have their life destroyed, even if they do things or have views I find regressive. So in this situation...
Yeah, I mean, just once again, it's like Asmongold walked back the idea that Palestinians deserve to be genocided, but he didn't walk back the idea that Palestinians have an inferior culture, which is a pretty big thing that a lot of people were mad about him, or mad at him about. So, yeah, maybe Mutahar wants to talk about that at all?
One could, you know, if they were to extend the charitability, could say that Asmongold was probably referring to extremists in the Islamic religion and their view on people in the LGBTQ camp, all right? As you all know, religious fundamentalists, whether you're in Islam or any religion, probably don't take too kindly to people that are gay, and that's probably what Asmongold was going for. Now,
no, that's not what he was going for. He was saying that the Palestinians have laws where they say that Israel should be genocided. He didn't say the extremists should be killed. He said the Palestinians are getting genocided, but that is justifiable because the Palestinians have laws or like cultural norms that say they must genocide Israelis too. So no, you literally can't do that even if you're trying to be charitable. Like, the most charitable thing you can extend to Asmongold is... I can't even think of something. Maybe he would say that if the Palestinians decided to not do genocide anymore, then they shouldn't be genocided. Maybe that's the most charitable thing. I mean, the most charitable thing I can think of to give Asmongold is he acknowledged Israel's genociding Palestinians. That's more than Mutahar's done. Okay, so once again, that's not like the gotcha that Ethan thinks it is. So it's... Moreover, you intentionally omitted portions of Muta's video that demonstrates he does not support the take of Zach Hoyt on Palestinians. Immediately before the clip he used in the defamation video, Muta stated, so obviously Asmongold walked back his statements and apologized. He said, my bad, of course no one deserves to have their life destroyed.
I find regressive. So in this situation, one could, if they were being charitable, could say that Asmongold was probably referring to the extremists in the Islamic religion and their view on people in the LGBTQ camp.
Okay, and then, so the lawyer or the letter is claiming that that's what Mutahar said immediately before the clips Noah Samson used. So let's play it a little bit more and find the clip that Noah Samson used.
No, religious fundamentalists, whether you're in Islam or any religion, probably don't take too kindly to people that are gay, and that's probably what Asmongold was going for. Now, obviously, his idea of conflating this was probably not the smartest way to handle the situation, and that's pretty much how the situation ended up going. Now, he earned himself a 14-day ban, and what this...
So I think it just has to do with
Islam or any religion... As you all know, religious fundamentalists, whether you're in Islam or any religion, probably don't take too kindly to people that are gay, and that's probably what Asmongold was going for. Now, obviously, his idea...
So is that the clip Noah used? I mean, this is an extremely difficult stream to maneuver through because this article isn't including the clips Noah used that they say is defamatory. Like, it's really interesting to me that this article that's claiming defamation isn't including any of the things they say is defamatory. Other than that initial clip, other than the initial thumbnail and title of the video that Noah Samson put out there. So just once again saying that if you this isn't really freeing Mutahar from the allegation that he did say religious fundamentalists are like killing gay people. Is that I don't know the clip Noah used.
Lastly, Muta's initial reaction to Asmongold's take on Palestine is easy to find on YouTube. Before Muta even watches the clip, he states, "This is going to be bad." Immediately after watching the clip, Muta expresses his shock at Asmongold's take and states, quote, "I don't think anybody should sit here and be like, I guess a whole group of people deserve to be genocided." This is a clear and unequivocal condemnation of Asmongold's take. Due to your intentional and material omission and
it's so funny. It's like, yeah, once again, I already explained it, but this letter is simultaneously saying Mutahar is changing what Asmongold said to say that he probably just meant the extremists. And yet also it's like a complete refutation to say, I stand against genocide and Asmongold supports genocide. These two things are mutually exclusive. They cannot exist in the same world.
Representative what Muta stated in his video. The first defamatory statement is actionable assertion of fact that was made with the knowledge that it was false. So that's
You're not including the statement that he supported genocide? Like, bro, saying that okay, I think I'm getting tired, so my brain's slowing down, but like these clips that the article included and being like, no, Muta, are these clips supposed to say that Mutahar doesn't support genocide? Because these clips are not saying that. They're not saying what the lawyer thinks they should be saying. They're not saying that at all. So I'd like to hear what the defamatory statement is. I guess it's just Mutahar supports genocide. It's an actionable assertion of fact that was made with knowledge that it was false. Okay, but you're not including the clips Noah did use, and you're not explaining why the clips before the clips Noah used are showing that the clips Noah used is false. Like, that's the thing. Are we attacking the claim that Mutahar backs a genocide, or are we saying that Noah intentionally clipped Mutahar out of context and portrayed him in a defamatory way, like a fraudulent way, and we're trying to refute the way that Noah portrayed him with the clips, or are we trying to refute the idea that Mutahar backs a genocide? Because, like, once again, like, it seems like they're kind of going back and forth with them. Are you saying that the clips are defamatory, or are you saying the main title is defamatory? Hey, thanks for the super chat, Moza. Asmund calls Palestinians who aren't even all Muslims subhuman because homosexuality is punishable by death in Islam, which isn't even practiced in most Muslim countries, but also he voted for Trump. Right, exactly. I mean, Ethan Klein will say, oh, the Hamas is so brutal because they crack down on protests. Have you seen America? Have you welcome to America, my boy? Even before Donald Trump, the police were like fucking brutally cracking down on protesters all the time. Okay, let's just continue this. We've like watched 2 minutes of this shit. Yeah, we watched 5 minutes of this fucking video, and it's like 4 hours long.
Basically, that's Muta. I mean, and his is just completely shut, open and shut. No.
Maybe for a moron like you, like honestly, Ethan's just fucking stupid. Like maybe the Rudy Giuliani style hair dye seeped into his brain. Thought it would make him smarter, but it seems to have just made him more evil.
Cites in the video. Ram said that this statement, "From the river to the sea, only peace shall set us free," is attributed to Ahmed Fouad al-Khatib, a Palestinian. Video.
Why did they take it off the fucking letter? I thought the point of this was to read the letter. I don't want to watch Ethan. Okay, let's go for this. As for Ethan, you either failed to disclose the factual basis for the first defamatory statement, or when you did disclose the factual basis, you either misrepresent the facts or rely on George Angelos Granitis, PKA Bad Empanada, a source known to be highly biased against Ethan, with a history of harassing, doxing, and making false statements. Literally in the fucking sentence where they're claiming Bad Empanada does harassment or does doxing, they do doxing. They dox Bad Empanada in the sentence. They're accusing Bad Empanada of doxing them. Holy shit. Like they're literally releasing his name publicly. This is like the first time. I think we've known his name is George, but this is like the first time his full fucking name has been released online. Just once again, man, this is such weak sauce. A source known to be highly biased against Ethan with, wow, you're mean to my client. Why would you cite someone who's mean to my client? Fucking embarrassing. What the hell is this? So what is this? You either failed to disclose the factual basis for the first defamatory statement. What is the first defamatory statement? Holy shit. Did they list what the first defamatory statement is? The first defamatory statement comprises of the thumbnail for the defamatory video. Okay, so they're targeting the thumbnail and the video. So there's two separate things. There's a defamatory video and there's a defamatory thumbnail. Okay? So that's what I want to get this right. The first defamatory statement comprises of the thumbnail for the defamatory video coupled with the title screen. Okay, so it's the thumbnail and the title. Okay. Interesting. So that's the first defamatory statement. Yeah, I don't think that these clips of Mutahar refute the, like, just once again, guys, they are saying that Noah clipped Mutahar out of context. But saying that he misrepresented Mutahar in the clips he used isn't the same as saying, like, Noah didn't make the case that Mutahar supports genocide. Being like, okay, well, he said some other stupid shit before the clips he used, and thus saying that he backed a genocide is wrong. Yet that you didn't make the case for that. Okay, let's continue. Okay. As for Ethan, you either failed to disclose the factual basis for the first defamatory statement, or when you did disclose the factual basis, you either misrepresent the facts or rely on Bad Empanada, the source to be highly biased against a source known to be highly biased. Source known to be highly biased with a history of harassing, doxing, and making false statements about others. Specifically, those statements are. So wait, bro, I'm fucking getting tired, but the first defamatory statement is the fucking thumbnail and title of the video. As for Ethan, you either failed to disclose the factual basis for the first defamatory statement. Okay, so they're saying you didn't give a factual basis for the first defamatory statement. You didn't give a factual basis for the title of the video. Or when you did disclose the factual basis, so now they're saying, but you did also give a factual basis. You either misrepresent the facts or rely on Bad Empanada, a source known to be highly biased against Ethan, making false statements about others. Specifically, those statements are, once again, this is like extremely poorly written. Are the statements they're referring to Bad Empanada's false statements about others, or are they referring to the Noah's disclosure of the factual basis that is misrepresented by the facts or reliant on Bad Empanada? Okay, let's just watch this a little bit more.
Noah cites in the video. Ram said that this statement, "From the river to the sea, only peace shall set us free," is attributed to Ahmed Fouad al-Khatib, a Palestinian activist. He wanted to credit the author of that statement.
Dude, this document is doing a fucking cease and desist on this stream. It's like breaking my brain.
He put Mutahar, a practicing Muslim, in the fucking thumbnail of his video and said he supports genocide.
Just once again, I find it really cute that Ethan's like, but Mutahar's a Muslim. How could he support genocide against Muslims? It's like Ethan's just showing his racism right off the bat. Ethan immediately jumping to Muslims versus Jews. Just once again, if it's a Muslim and you're accusing them of genocide supporting, then how could you do that? You're like basically calling him a race traitor. And if it's a Jew being anti-Zionist, he's a race traitor and he is a token Jew. This is a it's like a very reductionist view from Ethan, where he's like, or it's like it's an essentialist view from Ethan. That's a better word. He's like, if you are a Muslim, you are essentializing your Muslimness, and you must be like, I don't know, pro-Islam or something. How can you say that Mutahar is pro-genocide when he's a practicing Muslim? And if you are a Jew, you must support Israel because Israel's a representation of Jewish people. And if you don't support Israel, you are being a token Jew, or Ethan will compare you to Kapos in Nazi Germany. Ethan has a very essentialist view, and this is why he's a reactionary when it comes to Israel. He's no better than like Ben Shapiro.
A statement that has had far-reaching implications for his life as a practicing and active member of his Muslim community.
Bro, it's been 20 days. Give me a fucking break.
It's some white bread bitch boy wants to fucking play white savior. You know what I mean? And target Mutahar for being pro-genocide is the most pathetic, backwards bullshit ever. I think it's so funny that the
Ethan, why would you want me to talk to an anti-Zionist Jew? Why can't I talk to you, a Muslim person? What does it matter if I'm Jewish or you're Muslim? We should just be able to talk about the ideas. Ethan, a year later, Mutahar is a Muslim, and you're saying he supports genocide, and you're a fucking white-ass fucking white bread bitch boy that's doing a white savior complex telling a fucking Muslim that he supports genocide. This is the most backwards shit I've ever seen. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Where have you gone? He's like in the depths of hell right now. He's like, a white guy telling a Muslim person that they support genocide of Muslims? Give me a fucking break. This is ridiculous. It's crazy, man. Ethan's gone off the rails. All groups are monolithic until an individual is problematic to the propaganda. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man. I mean, and have you guys noticed that whenever Ethan finds like an expert on the issue, they're usually Muslim? Like, oh, what you're saying Mutahar supports genocide? He's Muslim. That one fucking like Palestinian guy that we saw, where he's like, Hamas is sabotaging these protests by firing 2 rockets into Israel, forcing Israel's hand to genocide everyone, to kill dozens of people with airstrikes. It's like Ethan's like, this guy's a highly educated Muslim, or he's a highly educated Palestinian, and you should look to him. I mean, he brings Lonerbox on the stream. Lonerbox is Lebanese. Like, it's all identity politics with this guy. Even when he talks about Ukraine, he brings in a Ukrainian. It's so fucking. What is it with white people using white as an insult? Yeah, I mean, he thinks he's chic. He thinks he's chic. Oh, you're using white savior. He like learned this term once, and I was using it over and over again. It's just like when Hassan was like, "Oh yeah, well, Palestinians are gonna fight back because that's the only thing they can do." And then he's like, "Well, you're using the bigotry of low expectations." It's like, that's not what we're talking about, bro. It's not that at all. And then he uses an example of bigotry of low expectations, and it's like proving him wrong, so he abandons it. He's like, that's like me saying that a child soldier has no choice but to be a soldier in like the Congo. But I mean, whatever, it doesn't even matter. Like, it's like, yes, that is a pretty analogous example because it's there are material conditions that force them into life choices that they might not actually enjoy. Like, that's a reason why Gila joined the IDF and why Palestinians join Hamas and resist against Israel because of like their material conditions. It's not bigotry of low expectations. And I don't know, like Ethan learns some terms and then he just runs with them. But it's so funny calling Noah Samson and Hassan white saviors.
are like, we don't want to listen. We don't listen to we prioritize the voice of minorities, right? Or those who are on the.
Read your fucking letter, Jesus Christ.
Unfortunately for Noah, the video that he cites, Mutahar literally contradicts his claims. So he either didn't watch the.
Oh God, guys, I'm fucking losing it. What are the claims Noah made? What are the claims? Look, bro, if I'm fucking losing my mind. Noah, okay. I need like a whiteboard behind me. I need a whiteboard behind me. Noah Samson is making a video. Like, they're saying that the first defamatory statement is the title of Noah's video, which says the YouTubers that back to genocide, along with the thumbnail, and he lists like people's faces on there. They're saying that's defamatory, basically saying Mutahar back to genocide. They're saying this is defamatory. This is defamatory because, and then they find like 6 clips of Mutahar and say, in these instances, Mutahar made mouth noises that if you're fucking stupid and you're in the next room like over and you can't hear words properly, you might think that he thinks Palestinians are real people. Okay, why aren't you addressing what Noah did? Noah made a fucking thumbnail and then he made an hour-long video backing that thumbnail up. Address the evidence Noah used. They're not addressing the evidence. They're just saying, in some clips, Mutahar said that genocide's bad. I'm losing my mind. Like, that's not enough. That's not enough to use. That's not enough to say defamation. Like, if Ethan says, like, oh yeah, I actually like pizza, but then in another clip he's like, I don't like pizza, and then you make a video saying Ethan doesn't like pizza, that's not enough to say that Ethan's lying, or to say the video's lying. You need more shit. You need to like address the evidence and be like, okay, well, you use some clips and this clip, it doesn't actually portray what you're claiming it portrays because it's clipped out of context. If you looked at the greater context, you would see that you said Ethan doesn't like pizza because there's this clip you use, but he actually said, I don't like pizza when it's microwaved and reheated. Some shit like that. You are explaining why the clip that the person that made the video used is wrong. And so then that clip wouldn't be permissible evidence to support the thesis of the video. But they're not doing that. They're just like, Mutahar said genocide is bad. You know, I don't think that Palestinians should be genocided. That doesn't actually address anything that Noah did. I'm like losing my fucking mind.
Entire video, which would constitute willful abandonment of the truth, or he did watch the whole video and knowingly lied and made malicious lies. So either way, and again, I don't think they understand, like, saying that someone's pro-genocide is not something to play with. Like, people know, like, you can't just be like, oh, this guy's a pedo. Like, you can't just like say that because you'd be like, oh, genocide is the worst thing you can be. So these guys think it's just cute and fun. It's just like a, oh yeah, no, they're pro-genocide. Oh, this guy disagrees with me. He's pro-genocide. That's not how this works. And Muta's case is so open and closed, man. It's just it's actually laughable. It's actually laughable. Here's a link to his video in case you're curious.
Hello, guys and gals.
The truth is, in my opinion, that Mutahar takes aim at Hassan in this video for platforming the Houthi terrorist kid. And he makes fun of him for comparing him to Anne Frank and all this types of shit.
Yeah. I mean, once again, he's not a terrorist. Like, saying that comparing him to Anne Frank is ridiculous is just racism. It's just like Islamophobia. I don't care. Yeah, so honestly, like, these two fucking guys, they're both pieces of shit.
And once again, what actually makes you pro-genocide is criticizing Hassan. That continues to be the common thread in this whole thing. But that's
well, we don't know why Noah Samson said Mutahar's pro-genocide, because your fucking lawyer didn't include the clips Noah used to back up his claim.
we'll see how that does for them. I mean, he enjoyed the stage. Noah, I hope you've enjoyed the attention and the accolades and all the praise. Because the realities are coming, my friend.
Holy shit, guys! I need to speed this up even.
And
more.
even in California,
he's so fucking
with the strictest defamation with the most protection for free speech against defamation lawsuits. Even here, this is defamation, my friend. And I, like you said, look forward to having so much fun with it. Now, moving on to my part. This gets. Let me see here. Here, as for Ethan, you either failed to.
Hey, here we go. Yeah. I'm curious to see if he, all right, I'll slow it down when he's actually reading this. I'm just curious to see if he'll actually explain what's happening.
Disclose the factual basis for the first defamatory statement, or when you did disclose the factual basis, you either misrepresent the facts or rely on George Angelos Jonitis. His last name sounds like an STD. You've got Jonitis? Holy shit, bro. Are you even allowed to travel with that kind of disease? George Jonitis? What a dumbass loser. A source, George Jonitis.
Bro, he read the guy's name and says, what a dumbass loser. It's literally, I mean, bro, what the fuck? He reads his name, laughs at it, pauses, and says, what a dumbass loser. Holy shit. Ethan is a good hater. Like, if we're talking about like a hater competition, Ethan might be at the top, because when he hates someone, he goes after everything.
Angelos Jonitis, a source known to be highly biased against Ethan with a history of harassing, doxing, and making false statements about others. Specifically, those statements are following. The second defamatory statement. In content.
Okay, so it's interesting, right? Because we're talking about the first defamatory statement, and they didn't give any evidence of why that defamatory statement is defamatory to Ethan. They only used it for defamatory to Mutahar. And now they're going on to second, third, and fourth, fifth defamatory statements. So that's interesting. You either fail to disclose the factual it's just so weird. It's like where they never reference those statements, and then at the end of this paragraph, they're like, specifically those statements are, and they go through this. Okay, whatever. Let's continue.
You find just about every type of what we just looked at in terms of manufacturing.
Okay, in the content nuke, you can find just about every type of what we just looked at in terms of manufacturing consent. Ethan spreads atrocity propaganda. He shares the Hamas mass rapes hoax, the same hoax that was used by Western media, the US government, and the Israeli government to justify genocide. Wait, that's defamatory? Ethan literally has done that.
Consent. Ethan spreads atrocity propaganda. He shares the Hamas rape hoax, the same hoax that was used by Western media, the US government, and the Israeli government to justify genocide, is the second statement Noah said. The third one is, Ethan spreads overt misinformation. He straight up lies about Hezbollah and the Houthis in order to delegitimize their struggle against the Israeli genocide. He cites baseless claims from Saudi state propaganda outlets to attack the Houthis. He also cites a documentary about the Houthis, which he
just read what it says. It says Ansar Allah. Why is he replacing Ansar Allah with the Houthis? Why is he doing that? This is your lawyer's article.
Uses as proof of the claim that they brought back slavery when the documentary wasn't even about the Houthis. It was about the Yemeni government before the Houthi takeover. What I find...
Okay. How is this a defamatory statement? This is literally just Noah describing what happened in Ethan's video.
What's so interesting about this is like, you're really going to go on record and say like, you're going to defend the Houthis for being like, I guess, anti-slavery?
No, what the fuck is he doing? What is Ethan like? This is just what Fox News does. Like at this point, Fox News is like, this is Fox News. The liberal on Fox News, Jessica Tarlov, says, "Why are we deporting people without due process? We don't know who we're deporting because we're not giving them due process. So we actually have no evidence if they're a part of Trente Arago or not." The other person will step in and be like, you have more sympathy for terrorist gangsters, illegal immigrants than American citizens? Why do you want them to have more rights than what's that girl's name? Chat, what's that girl's name Lake and Riley. You want them to have more rights than Lake and Riley. It's like, it's not what I want them to have rights. And Ethan's like, Wow, you corrected misinformation that I put out in my video that has millions of views? Are you actually gonna go to bat for Hezbollah and Ansar Allah? And the Houthis? And like, no, he's correcting your misinformation. You lied, and he's correcting the lie. And now that you're called out for it, you're ignoring the fact that you got called out for lying, and instead you're just saying, are you actually going to defend them? Okay, dude.
Like, the Houthis have slaves. Why are you erring on the side of the slaver? Okay, they might have slaves, but let's err on the side of the slave owners on this one. To own the libs. Ironically, they are also doing the own the libs thing. It's funny. Everybody's trying to own the libs. The fourth defamatory statement. He spreads long debunked Nakba denial talking points that have been used for decades to legitimize Israelis' colonization of Palestine. Ethan cites sources that contradict his own claims directly, such as the UN report he claims proves the Hamas mass rape allegations, which the report itself denies.
It literally doesn't. I mean, guys, the report literally doesn't prove anything. It's like, it says things most like sexual violence most likely happened. How is that in any way proof that it happened? They're just like, we don't know. Also, like, how are these defamatory in any way? Like, Noah's pretty accurately just repeating what Ethan said.
Spends 20 minutes in the video smearing a 19-year-old survivor of a U.S.-backed Saudi genocide in Yemen as a terrorist with zero credible evidence, he claims.
He claims, okay, what's the evidence that he's a terrorist? That he posed with a gun? That he was on a ship? That, like, thousands of other non-Houthi people were also on that ship?
So these are the defamatory statements he said about me, and it's just a party, right? It's just so much fun here. We're having so much fun here, aren't we, Noah? Just like you promised. Further, it is clear you knew that Ethan did not support genocide in Gaza because you watched, or claimed to watch, Content Nuke Hassan Piker. In the nuke, Ethan expresses his repeated condemnation of Israelis' treatment of Palestinians. This emphasizes that you knew Ethan did not support genocide in Gaza, but still labeled him being one. Additionally, Ethan condemns the genocide in Gaza on numerous occasions prior to the nuke. And these are all attached with sources of what he's referencing. Your desire to falsely paint Ethan as supporting genocide in Gaza is emphasized by the end of the first defamatory video, where you state, quote, I think many of you can probably also help out with that. Most of you have smartphones and cameras and TikTok. So go ahead, start posting about it, spread the work. Aside from being a morally good thing to do, it's also becoming sustainable. You know, it's algorithmically viable. The Ethan Klein crash out industrial complex is booming. Isn't that fucking interesting? This statement demonstrates that you intended to not just have third parties spread defamatory statements about Ethan, but profit from these defamatory statements. You proved this point yourself.
I fucking love what it's like. Wow, you can make money from posting on social media? Well, you're a complete, a scumbag? You're lying then? Your motivation is by money? What is the point? If it, once again, man, Noah Samson saying, aside from being a morally good thing to do, it's also becoming sustainable. It's like he's saying you can make money off of this shit. What is the point of this lawyer? This statement demonstrates that you intended to not just have third parties spread defamatory statements about Ethan. Bro, these statements, it's fucking hilarious to me that these are defamatory statements, but profit from those defamatory statements. Since when? Where is that in the libel law? Where does it say it's not libel if you don't profit off of it? You prove this point yourself when your video entitled Manufacturing Consent for Genocide failed to receive many views. What the fuck? Bro, these people are unhinged. Ethan has found his people, man. These lawyers sound about as unhinged as him. This is hilarious. This is exactly what Ethan does all the time. He's like, well, someone made a video about me. Well, let's see how many views on their videos they have when they're not about me. And then he's like, not very many. Yeah, Ethan found his soulmates in these lawyers. Wow, your next video that you made didn't receive many views, so you made a second defamatory video to further profit from your defamatory statements about Ethan. It's just so funny. Yeah, many views. Okay, I would love to hear how these are defamatory statements.
When your video entitled Manufacturing Consent for Genocide failed to receive many views, the one prior to the second video, particularly in comparison to the first defamatory video, you made the second defamatory video to further profit from your defamatory statements about Ethan. What a fucking psychotic thing to say. Everybody go on and lie about Ethan.
I mean, bro. Ethan's literally been running a propaganda campaign to get Hassan and people that he believes are in Hassan's orbit to get canceled from the internet. So, yeah, saying that this is psychotic when he's like, oh, yeah, you should, like, call out people that are supporting genocide is hilarious.
Ethan everywhere, and you can make a pretty penny doing it. Nice one, dude. The second defamatory statement and the fifth defamatory statement. So now we're going to prove these wrong. The second defamatory statement, you do not disclose the factual basis for how Ethan engaged in every type of manufactured consent, with one exception, your false assertion that Ethan spread the Hamas rape hoax, which you expanded upon with the fifth defamatory statement, i.e. the false assertion that Ethan misrepresented the UN report on sexual violence. The mass rapes on October 7th were not a hoax. In your defamatory video, you cite paragraph 84 and 86 from the UN report. First defamatory video, from the language you displayed in the defamatory video, it makes it clear that there were mass rapes on October 7th. Quote, overall, based on the totality of information gathered from multiple and independent sources at the different locations, there are reasonable grounds to believe that conflict-related sexual violence occurred at several locations across Gaza periphery, including in forms of rape, gang rape, during the 7th of October attacks. Credible circumstantial information, which may be indicative of some forms of sexual violence, including genital mutilation, sexualized torture, or cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment, was also gathered. This, by the way, in the reports that Noah says that nothing happened, which is a continued talking point that I see by him, Hassan, and Co. being like, oh, actually, that UN report completely exonerates Hamas. It's like, you're fucking lying, dude. You're actually lying. And not only that, I mean, not only that, you're siding with terrorists over people who are genitally mutilated, sexually tortured, gang raped, and degraded by cruel treatment. You are fucking...
I mean, just once again, man, it's a fucking preliminary report, and they're saying that it makes clear that there were mass rapes on October 7th, when the report says, based on the totality of information from multiple and independent sources at the different locations, there are reasonable grounds to believe this. So, once again, it's like, yeah, you can say there are reasonable grounds to believe it, but you can't say that it's clear that it happened, because it's not clear. Like, there just isn't enough evidence. Like, they say that it's credible circumstantial evidence.
You are throwing them aside to side with terrorists, in this case, Hamas. That's fucking insane. It is.
Throwing who aside?
It has to be.
Who?
Like, I think the collective online left has just completely lost its mind. I think it's just totally fucking rotten from the core. And I mean, this is just proof of it. Not only is Noah out here saying this shit, he's being propped up by everybody on Twitter. From Hassan. Hassan has watched all of his videos in their entirety. He's dedicated hours of time watching Noah's videos. And George Genocide, the human STD, watching all of his videos. God, he really is a human STD. That's so good. George Genocide. I'd love to see George Genocide step foot outside of Argentina and see how fast he gets sued by like a dozen people.
Oh my God, you guys.
But that's okay. None of them are
crazy.
as dedicated, as crazy, and as willing to waste money as I am. So Georgie boy thinks he's safe out there.
Guys, like, this is the thing. Ethan says there's so many victims that have come forth with their stories. It's like, okay, can you name them? Like I'm not saying there aren't, but Ethan's the one that makes the claim all the time that like mass rape happened and victims have come forward, and you're not believing women that have come forward. But he hasn't named a single person.
But he's not, he's just never really come up against someone like me. I'll just be honest. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but I have more money than them. I'm more dedicated than them. I've completely fucking thrown every, all these things like, maybe it's not worth it. That's all gone. Maybe it's not worth it to spend $1 million pursuing some fucking human STD in Argentina. No, that's gone. See, that's gone. When you guys contributed to an atmosphere in which the CPS was called on my house, when you specifically, George, joked about calling the CPS, when you specifically, George, suggested I was lying about the CPS coming to my house, when you, George, specifically propagated this whole thing by saying that my kids were crawling around and eating shit, potentially eating shit, you welcome to my world, baby. You know what I mean? Let's fucking get it, dude. And I've been in a lawsuit with Ryan Kavanaugh now for like over 3 years, and I've spent countless hundreds of thousands. To me, this is just like my free time. I don't know how you handle it. For me, this is just like, this is a Sunday breeze, okay? So yeah, we're gonna be working with Argentinian lawyers, investigators, police, and we are going to be basically exploring all and every possible legal and civil venue to hold the human STD George Genocide responsible for his slander, his defamation, his disgusting, violent fucking rhetoric. Yeah, the guy who cosplayed as a Hamas terrorist and pretended to kill my wife. and again, just I have to emphasize, this guy who is so clearly insane is being propped up by Noah, which is less surprising because he's also insane, but more so by Hassan, who's now dedicated a dozen hours probably to watching Bad Empanada videos in its entirety. And just nodding along, by the way, when he goes, Ela Klein is a terrorist. He said something like, Ela Klein is a terrorist that kills babies, like without a hint of irony. And Hassan's just like, That's the sound he made. What Hassan does, you guys are going to learn throughout all this, is that these are his attack dogs. He uses them to say the shit that he wouldn't say, to attack the people in ways that is obviously below the belt, that is unacceptable. And instead of having to say it himself, he rewards them by watching their entire videos on his stream in its entirety. And it's basically as good as him saying it in that case, but he doesn't have any of the liability. So that's why he throws it. And now in George's case, this has proven a useful, a symbiotic relationship, because George is in Argentina, away from most.
Guys, I'm just going to talk about this really quick now, and then I'm going to be done. So this is an article by PBS, and it's relevant because it talks about the UN report. How 2 debunked accounts of sexual violence on October 7th fueled a global dispute over Israel-Hamas war. Jerusalem, AP. Chaim Mazgen had tended to dozens of shot, burned, or mutilated bodies before he reached the home that would put him at the center of a global clash. Working in a kibbutz that was ravaged on Hamas's October 7th attack, Mazgen, a volunteer commander with Zaka, an Israeli search and rescue organization, saw the body of a teenager, shot dead and separated from her family in a different room. Her pants had been pulled down below her waist. He thought that was evidence of sexual violence. He alerted journalists to what he'd seen. He tearfully recounted the details in a nationally televised appearance in the Israeli parliament. In the frantic hours, days and weeks that followed the Hamas attacks, his testimony ricocheted across the world. So, he found a teenager with her pants pulled down, shot, and he said that Hamas did like brutal gang rapes. But it turns out that what Mazgen thought had occurred in the home at the kibbutz hadn't happened. And so what had happened is, they're not actually saying what had happened, but what had happened was a IDF group went into the house and dragged her shot corpse across the ground, trying to look for bombs or any other traps. And in the process of dragging her across the ground, her pants fell down. So Mazgen, Zaka. Okay, so one account that turned out to be unfounded came from Chaim Mazgen. After tending to dozens of shot, burned, or mutilated bodies, so we saw this. He assumed that meant she had been sexually assaulted. He told journalists details of what he'd seen and asked if they might have some other interpretation. Today, he maintains that he never said outright that the girl whose body he saw had been sexually assaulted, but his telling strongly suggested the case. Nearly 3 months later, Zaka found out as Mazgen's interpretation was mistaken. After cross-checking with military contacts, Zaka learned that a group of soldiers had dragged the girl's body across the room to make sure it wasn't booby-trapped. As they did that, her pants came down. The other debunked account originated from Mazgen's colleague, Yossi Landau, also a longtime volunteer working in Be'eri. In the days and weeks that followed the attack, Landau told global media that what he saw, a pregnant woman lying on the floor, her fetus still attached to the umbilical cord wrenched from her body. But as Mazgen, who was overseeing the other Zaka workers, when he said Landau frantically called him and the others into the home, did not see what Landau described. Instead, he saw the body of a heavyset woman and an unidentifiable hunk attached to an electric cable. Everything was charred. Mazgen said he told Landau this isn't a pregnant woman. Still, Landau believed his version, going on to tell the story to journalists who circulated the account internationally. And this is where you get stories of teenage girls getting raped, genitally mutilated, and like fetuses getting ripped out of the bodies of pregnant people. Now, that's not saying that sexual violence didn't happen. However, this is 2 examples of stories of brutality that was picked up by Israeli media and was used in propaganda to basically paint Palestinians as human animals. So let's continue reading this article from PBS. original UN report with credible evidence. They mention one victim that apparently does not exist. What do you make of this? Yeah. So, I mean, let's just continue reading this. It's kind of interesting, I guess, as why these are correct. So, the United Nations and other organizations have presented credible evidence that Hamas militants committed sexual assault during their rampage. The prosecutor for the ICC said he had reason to believe that 3 key Hamas leaders bore responsibility for rape and other acts of sexual violence as crimes against humanity. Though the number of assaults is unclear, photo and video from the attack's aftermath have shown bodies with legs splayed, clothes torn, and blood near their genitals. However, debunked accounts like Atmazgin's have encouraged skepticism and fueled a highly charged debate about the scope of what occurred on October 7th, one that is still playing out on social media and in college campus protests. So, I mean, guys, we know that the IDF desecrates corpses of people that were killed on October 7th. So, seeing people with their clothes torn is not going to be good evidence of sexual assault. However, like, even with that being said, we can reasonably assume sexual assault took place. We can reasonably assume that it took place. Like, as Kareem Khan said, he has reasonable grounds to believe that 3 key Hamas leaders bore responsibility for rape and other acts of sexual violence as crimes against humanity. I don't know what this entails, whether like 3 individual people did these actions or if they passed down orders for these actions to be made. It's like unclear based off of this article what that entails, but okay, let's listen, guys. At the end of the day, there probably was sexual violence. The UN report does not have real evidence of this. It has circumstantial evidence. As it says, it's circumstantial evidence. We know that circumstantial evidence isn't good enough evidence to believe that rape happened, because like we saw the circumstantial evidence of Kaim Atmagin that saw a girl with her pants down, and it turns out it was like the IDF that caused her pants to fall down. So like at the end of the day, sexual violence probably happened. There is no real good evidence of it happening, however. Like, there is circumstantial evidence, but it's a conversation to be had insofar as the people that did sexual violence should be prosecuted. It is a completely irrelevant conversation when we're talking about the broader scope of the genocide that's going on. That's my position. Prosecute the people that did crimes. These 3 Hamas leaders, if they're still alive, should definitely be prosecuted by the ICC, and they can do investigations, and there can be evidence brought out in court to determine if they are guilty or not of these crimes that they're accused of. But what I don't want from guys like Ethan is when people are saying Hamas is human animals because they're like ripping fetuses out of pregnant women and they're like gang raping teenagers. I don't want people, and then when like Hassan responds to that and he's like, okay, well, there's like, this has been an overblown narrative used to dehumanize Palestinians. And then Ethan will be like, well, you are not focusing on the rapes. He's missing the point. The point isn't the rapes. The point is the propaganda that things have been blown up to describe the brutality of Palestinians. It's like rapes that happen are horrible and they should be prosecuted. But the broader conversation, they are irrelevant to it. It is an irrelevancy. Like, the rapes themselves are irrelevant. What is relevant is the propaganda that the rapes were being used to justify this genocide. Look at this article. It's called How a Well-Connected Israeli Legal Expert Influenced the UN Investigation into Sexual Violence. Interesting. I'll take a look at it. All right, let's continue this though.
Forms of accountability, right? Now, Noah is actually being played as a fucking idiot because Noah is doing his dirty work, but he's doing it from Los Angeles. Now, what do you think of that? Noah, you're about to find out that you're a tool, my friend. And I look forward to Hassan paying for your lawyer fees too. I mean, that's the least you could do, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's just sitting on a hoard of wealth like Smog the Dragon. The least he could do is fucking toss a few coins to my boy living with his parents at age 26. That's a reference to a video he put out. No hate to parent dwellers. George Genitis, the human STD. It's actually incurable. You don't want to catch this one. It could be fatal too. I know it makes your dick leak pus.
Holy shit! Shut the fuck up. God, he's still going on about this shit. Okay, what is this segment? Oh, Muda calls in. Okay.
Right there.
Thanks, man. What's up, brother? How's it
How
going?
are you?
Wild day today. The nukes are out.
So tell me about basically why you decided to do this.
Well, I decided to do it because I want to say since he dropped his videos, the first one with my face in the thumbnail, I have not stopped seeing it in the comment section for every video. So clearly it's just been sort of like a thing that's stuck in the audience. I think ever since I reactivated Twitter, it's been filled with the mentions of like, you're a genocide supporter, blah, blah, blah. And then, obviously that's caused impact to my channel. It's obviously, like people, I mean, you see that in the comment sections, it's bad. But then in reality land, right? Like this is the first time I have to like completely miss out on like eat prayers and all this stuff just because I don't really get into my community anymore. So, I don't really see my family much anymore. Just to keep them away from me while this is kind of raging. I've got my own community that, I pray every Friday. I go all the time. And, over there, I've been kind of confronted with some people who have brought it up. Just other people in the, I guess, fellowship, so to speak. And it's just not been a fun time. It's
yeah, I mean, this fucking white bitch-made loser, okay, he wants to save you from yourself, I guess. What is he trying to do? What do you think about this white dude telling you that you are pro-genocide?
Bro, it's so insane because like I've said it.
He's a white bitch-made loser. Wow. Dude, Ethan's really mad that Noah Samson's white. I wonder if it's like he's used to picking on people that aren't white and he can just, I don't know, man. He's like, I guess he's making fun of at least Badham but not his appearance. I just don't think he likes it when people are hot that are like beefing with him.
Like publicly, it's like even with like Hassan or whatever, it's like there are some people that just have the ability to turn their like I guess you could say victim card on and off, right? Like, it's easy to be Muslim when it's convenient, just if you want that victim card on, you're like a brown skinned person, but it's like I live it every day, like I can't turn that off. So when I see guys like Noah come in and tell me what I should and should not feel, especially when I've grown in that environment, like I've grown up in a Muslim household, various degrees of conservative Muslim household too, like depending on how far, like if you go my grandparents and stuff. So it's just when I was in that video talking about like my piece towards the end, that came from like a personal experience, something that I highly doubt Noah's been through. So it's shocking that when I'm not on their side, when I'm not on the accepted side, I'm just the Uncle Tom. I'm fucking out of it. Like, I don't know what I'm saying. Like, it's just annoying. It's like, fuck this guy. Like, fuck you.
Bro, you yourself said you don't know what you're talking about. You literally said, like, oh, I don't know about these things. Like, I'm not an idiot, but I'm just not going to, like, get involved in this. I just think that innocent people shouldn't be killed. Like, you say you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like it's always like listen to the diverse voices. Listen to what they're saying. Oh, this guy disagreeing. He supports genocide. Don't worry about him. Saying like the worst shit possible about you. Like, why the fuck do they target you with the worst shit possible?
It's because he defended Asmongold's statement where he's like, oh, actually, he's probably just referring to the extremists, fundamentalists.
I normally like I wouldn't even get into the legal trenches of this, right? Because it's like I'm not at the stage you're at where it's like fuck it, I'm just gonna go. Like I'm in the trenches. Like normally I wouldn't because it's kind of like an apprehensive thing. But when Noah puts me up as like a genocide supporter, right, like a thumbnail and everything, and I watch his videos, like it's insane because I've had my own lawyers. Like I've sat down and spent billable hours. We watched his videos. And we're just like sitting there like, where the fuck does he get off saying this kind of shit? Like dude, I have a fucking legal bill that I'm looking at for all, like it's part of like the fucking accounting. It doesn't make any sense anymore. Like I look at everything that he says and I just think like, how do you get out? And it was my wife that came in and she's like, listen, it's kind of like calling you a predator, like a child predator or something.
Totally.
Right? Like, you could, it's one thing if somebody says something about me that like, whatever, it's not going to cause me harm at the end of the day. Like it's just internet beef. This is like, you might as well call me the worst thing imaginable. Yep. And at some point, like I'm going to have to respond to you. And if me, like, because I don't want to do this thing where I make like a video back and forth. Like I don't want to feed into like nonsense drama if it's not going to do anything. I'd rather it be in a public record. If that's the only way to like defend ourselves at all,
100%.
Which it seems like it is.
Yeah. And previously when I've gotten into like spats like this where people are lying about you, you can make a video, you show the receipts, and then everyone's like, oh, okay, he's telling the truth. In this case, these people, Hassan and co, who are part of this cult, they don't care being wrong. That's part of their strategy. They are knowingly malicious. They don't care. It's like, it's just about the target. It's not about the method of criticism. It's just about destroying the target. They don't care how it's done. We could prove 1,000 times over that they're just totally materially lying, but they won't care. All they'll say now is that we're trying to silence his free speech, which is Which
Dude,
is
I hated
yeah.
that so much. Like, so I've seen the whole rumbling. It's like, oh, you guys are shutting down free speech. And I think I tweeted about like Andrew Tate having like a defamation case where like they literally used his own words. And I'm like, well, that's you shutting down free speech. And I've seen like so many people equate that to this situation right here, us looking into like the legal options. And I'm like, no, this is obviously very different because the letter you just read, right? Like just my section alone and then your section. It's like you literally like mishandled, you like misconstrued every clip that you've shown. We have the context and evidence out there. You could have seen.
They didn't include any of the clips that Noah used from Mutahar unless like later in the letter they talk about them. What? So he's gonna defend Andrew Tate for saying stuff, but he's gonna say Noah Samson can't call me a genocide enthusiast.
You know, you could have relayed it, dude. I did an investigation on that guy completionist like a year and a half ago with like Carl Jobs, right? And in that investigation, I was so careful on what I could say and what I couldn't say. Like that video had to be like legally verified. I got it checked numerous times. I do it for every investigation. Specifically after our beef, actually. After that, like I fucking renewed into a changed man. Like everything that I say.
I'm not far behind you, Young. I mean, we made it like 30 minutes into this video. I'm like losing my fucking mind too.
Have like a fucking bullet behind it because the day it goes to court, you know, the day because I know that I can get sued obviously within a year of making a video per like you know most defamation statutes. Unlike Noah, it's like you got like I have to come with all the evidence prepared, and when I see these guys making their like actual slop videos, like I know that these guys use slop as like the most negative term, but Noah's video was by far the sloppiest thing that I've seen, and like the fact that it was so deconstructed so well, these people will never listen to it, and the problem is you're right, it's just another like they just want to target. There's so many better targets for them that actually like.
Dude, there's shit happening right now. Hassan just spent like another 2 hours talking about me on his stream. It's like, bro, there's shit happening right now, dude. Like actual shit. Like what? Like, dude, there's yeah.
It's like there are so many targets out in the world that probably deserve like actual criticism. So it's like when you're going after like the actual Palestinian supported voices, it's insane. Like I hate the co-opt use of these guys. Like you're targeting pro-Palestinian voices. I'm like, you can be very pro-Palestinian. I am. You can also not be siding with terrorism. Like to go back to my history, like post 9/11, if you grew up as a Muslim in North America, like you got looks, you know. I believe one of the first hate crimes against after 9/11 was towards like a Sikh individual, right? Not even a Muslim person. It's just because they wore a turban and they looked very similar to you know that's what colloquially we believe like the Muslim hijacker look like. I do have to research that a little bit more, but it's one of the things that struck to me, and it's like when you grow up in an environment like that. To me, I always like I'm a fucking Canadian first, North American, whatever. I believe in supporting my community. I believe in like the freedoms and help of like everyone around. I believe in just everyone getting along. Like it's the most hippie shit that I can come up with and say, and that's really what my beliefs are. And as a Muslim growing up, it's like there's billions of us around the world. Obviously, it's pretty safe to say not all of us support violent terror groups. In fact, we're very much against it. And I guess if anything that I can say is like I'm firmly against groups like that. But that doesn't mean I'm against the plight of an entire group of people that are not all terrorists. You know, it's just insane that this should be such a normal take that everyone has. And in the eyes of the most extreme left, suddenly you're like a genocide supporter for having the most normal take imaginable. Like something that anybody should think. Like it's insanity. Like the more I think about it, the more I'm like actually baffled.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they pushed it so far to the point where there needs to be accountability. Like there needs to be. They forced us into a corner in which like there's pretty much the only way to hold these people accountable. And the unfortunate thing is people like George Janitis, the human STD, and people like Noah Samson, they are materially rewarded. They get no pushback from the community. They get plugged. They get massively shouted out and supported by Hassan and co. So for them, they just see green lights all the way. Like, oh yeah, the more I lie, the more malicious that I be about this person, the more views, the more Hassan's going to put me on for sure. Just as mean as I can be about Mutahar or Ethan or anyone that's talked bad about him. So they've created this atmosphere. And
why doesn't Noah talk to, or why doesn't Ethan? Also, a great pause for Ethan's face. Why doesn't Ethan talk to Noah Samson? Like, this is what I don't understand. There are a lot of people that say Ethan's supporting genocide or Ethan's doing Israeli propaganda. And yet Ethan doesn't want to talk with any of these people. He doesn't want to say, okay, well, you're saying I'm doing Israeli propaganda. I'm not. How am I doing Israeli propaganda? Give me the examples of the propaganda that I'm spouting, and I will disprove that. I'll say that either you're wrong in considering that's Israeli propaganda, or I'll say you're wrong that I've never done that. Why doesn't Ethan do this stuff? If so many people are lying about you, call out the lies. You're not calling out the lies. You're just saying like, oh well, I mean, Hassan said that 40,000 people. Or he's like, Hassan's just using genocide as an excuse to not take any criticism, and like turning genocide into a punchline in your community. Or undercounting the amount of Palestinians that were dead by about like 10,000. Not to mention the estimations of hundreds of thousands of people. Like that right there is genocide denial. If people say, like Ethan got all butthurt, and rightly so, when Dan Bilzerian went on to Piers Morgan think it was Piers Morgan, or maybe some other fucking stupid podcast that he went on, and he's like, I don't know how many Jews died in the Holocaust, but I know it wasn't 6 million. It was below 6 million. And Ethan got all triggered about that because that's Holocaust denial. He should get triggered about that. He should call that shit out. That is Holocaust denial. Ethan's doing the same thing, man. So if you're saying that Dan Bilzerian is doing Holocaust denial about the Jews in Nazi Germany because he was downplaying the counts, why is it not fair to call you doing like genocide denial or supporting this genocide when you undercount the amount of people dead, when you consistently refer to it as a war and not a genocide, when you say that actually Hamas is the reason this is happening because Hamas hasn't given up the hostages that they have. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna call it. We are at an hour and 4 minutes or whatever into this video. There's a lot of shit. I'll probably be streaming tomorrow. I'm just like fucking tired. I'm done with this bullshit too. And yeah, catch me tomorrow. And yeah, let's wrap this up tomorrow. This is like a behemoth of an episode. We haven't even gotten through the legal documents that Ethan released. But anyway, I just think this is so funny. I just think it's so funny. They're like complaining about getting doxxed. In the same sentence, they're doxing Bad Empanada. They're complaining about getting defamed by Noah. In the same video, they're defaming Noah. They're saying that they're disproving the allegations that Noah made by not referencing the allegations at all, by not referencing any of the evidence, but being like, no, Mutahar's a good guy, trust us. Playing like some kind of weird fucking race essentialism, being like, how could a white person tell a brown person that they're supporting of a genocide against other brown people? Like, these guys have just completely gone off the deep end. So anyway, thanks for all of the super chats. Thanks for all of the chats. It's a blast seeing everyone in the chat, and like the stream, comment below also, just so that we get it pumped out there in the algorithm, and I'll catch you later and we'll finish this up tomorrow. See ya. Everyone have a good night.